Attention citizens. Please commence routine 1399. Proceed instantly to the center. Thank you.
Separated together, each perspective's in view. I am me, I am you. Justice, fear, and fire. Separated together, each perspective's in view. I am me, I am you. I am you. I am me, I am you. I am me, I am you.
Attention citizens. Please commence routine 1399. Proceed instantly to the center. Thank you.
opposite. It is just the absence of the idea itself. Absence is the absence of presence. Presence is the absence of absence. Any perceived difference is in fact also a deep connection. In this way, opposing forces are unified. The world becomes a collaborative web of interdependent pieces.
Do you hear what I hear? Do you care if I care? Do you know what I know? Do we know what we share? Do you hear what I hear? Do you care if I care? Do you know what I know? Do we know what we share?
I'm just waiting to hear it.
Do you hear what I hear? Do you care if I care? Do you know what I know? Do we know what we share? Do you don't you? 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 Ooh, you don't you? Don't you? Don't you?
Hello to the two fans and welcome! This is Chicago Ted coming to you live with the KOD League Season 2. Today it is going to be XD Gamers taking on Not Today right here in the lower bracket finals. That's right, the winner of this matchup will go on to face, what is it? It's Banana Slam Jamma's team, Gamers, Enemy GG will be their final opponent here, and Not Today already facing off against them once, got 0-2'd by them yesterday, but I imagine if they do come back, then they will definitely come back swinging. Of course, XD Gamers giving Not Today a run for their money earlier on in the tournament, getting 1-2 to the two of Not Today to drop to the lower bracket, but we'll see the rematch happening right here, right now. Of course, I'm not alone. I am being joined by Mr. V. How you doing, man?
I'm doing well. I'm super pumped for seeing these teams go back at it. These teams have been putting forth some really high quality matches, and I'm excited to see them play again.
All right, so coming out with these drafts, of course, not today. Yesterday, I think it was their game, either yesterday or 2 days ago. I'm pretty sure it was yesterday. No, it was 2 days ago. They had a little bit of trouble with the Ursa pick earlier on. Same thing with the Enchantress pick. So, of course, the Enchantress will be banned out this time around. They do not want to have to deal with that again. So they will grab themselves a Lone Druid early on. And as a first pick, it's not all that bad. I'm interested to see, though, how they're going to run it with their draft. As XD, they pick up the famed Witch Doctor.
Yeah, this pick is pretty good. It's defensive. If you ever find the Lone Druid a little bit exposed and he's nearest berry, you can cask, and then you've got a guaranteed double stun coming through. So, pretty good defensive pickup against the Lone Druid.
Yeah, and Witch Doctor in and of himself is one hell of a support. Even if you're not up against the Lone Druid in lane, which most likely is what's going to happen, as the Lone Druid tends to play the off lane, the Witch Doctor tends to be a safe lane support. But just the Witch Doctor alone can end up demolishing an offlaner without all that much trouble, and he's got everything. He's got a stun, which hurts. He's got a right click, which hurts, and he's got a heal, which, okay, it doesn't hurt, but it kind of negates the hurt on your ally team. So it's kind of one of those heroes that you gotta just think about how you play that offlane a little bit more carefully. If you're by a creep alone, then you're probably going to get cast, and at that point, you don't really have much to say but, welp, I am dead. So looking up to follow up with that Witch Doctor pick, we got quite a couple of options. Of course, I think I saw a Pudge pick earlier on that went well with the Witch Doctor, but I'm pretty sure that was Captain's Draft, so we might not see that again.
Yeah, and I think the Witch Doctor also brings something into the late game as well with that Death Ward. If you get your Aghanim Scepter up, you're going to be offering huge damage potential in the late game. Lone Druid's a little bit tricky because he always has the Roar to counter it.
Yep.
But if you have the control factor there, then the Witch Doctor's ults can deal massive damage. And with the Earthshaker pickup, you definitely have that control factor to block out or stun people moving in to interrupt the Witch Doctor ultimate.
10 seconds.
Yeah, and that's going to be really key, is getting that Witch Doctor ultimate to stop. I mean, because as you said, you can't let that run full duration or even partial. And now they're going to grab a little bit of extra, insurance against that Witch Doctor ultimate, the Death Ward, with the Vengeful Spirit. The Nether Swap tends to be one of those better spells against it. Very long range at level 2 and level 3. And her stun isn't that bad either if she can get close, but the Roar is going to be one of those things. What's the official name? Savage Roar. There's Primal Roar, Roar. Savage Roar is going to be the one for this guy, but all those things to work to cancel that Death Ward, that's going to be important. However, with the Earthshaker out and about, that is one of the hell of a hero to pick up here. And with Lone Druid and his Bear, that's another extra unit that could work towards the Echo Slam. But in reality, it's just a high burst damage hero where Lone Druid tends to be a lot squishier in lane pre-level 6.
Yeah, for sure. And the addition of Aether Lens into the items of BO2 really offers Venge a little bit more capacity for canceling the Witch Doctor ultimate. With that extra 200 range can really mean something, especially in the pre-11 stage, where Venge's ultimate is really short and she just needs to cancel that Witch Doctor ultimate.
Yeah.
I really like the band of the Death Prophet on the side of XD Gamers. The AoE silence is just really good against the Witch Doctor and the Earthshaker. That silence lasts for an absurd amount of time. It's like 3, 4, 5, 6 seconds scaling.
Yeah.
Just can completely shut down their two supports.
Yeah, and I gotta say, Death Prophet, not just the silence, everything about that hero is almost too much at this stage in the game. I mean, she saw a little bit, I think, of hurt in the balance patch 6.86D or something like that, but it's still just, she's dominant in lane. You can't really beat her. You have to either break even or lose to her, and because of that dominance that she gives in lane, typically ends up winning said lane, and at that point, if you lose the lane to a Death Prophet, you're in a real load of trouble. So the OD in the Faceless Void will also get banned out. Another OP hero is the Spectre, getting taken out of the game by XD Gamers, which surprises me a little bit considering it does work pretty well with their lineup. Dealing with someone like the Lone Druid, Vengeful Spirit, just kind of get across the map and burn through the high HP pools that the Lone will have when he has his level 6 up and running. XD Gamers instead go for the Razor, who has gone historically as a counter to the Lone Druid because you can sap that bear, and the bear really doesn't do much about it except try to run away, which Razor can be pretty quick on his own.
Yeah, I like the Razor pickup against the Lone Druid. It also gives them a little bit more D-push with the Plasma field.
Yep.
Lone Druid is definitely going to be offering some heavy split push, and the Death Prophet ban was also kind of targeting at stopping the early push coming on. So having a Fissure, having a Cask, having a Plasma field, all these things really contribute to pushing back the side of Not Today, who's going to go ahead and respond with their own Tusk pick. So a little bit more pick-off and roaming potential on their side.
Yeah, the roaming potential here is just crazy. They've got so much control of who they, like, if they find someone, they can lock them in with the Magic Missile, which by and large isn't the longest stun, but it makes up for that with the amount of damage it does, as well as the fact that Venge can boost up every other source of damage. But Tusk also, you can lock him in with the Ice Shards. The Snowball ends up being really, really potent as an early game stun, and pretty much everything that Tusk has is based around keeping someone in place or at least making them very, very slow and unable to run away. So as far as this duo combo, Tusk and Venge, I imagine they're going to be playing a more roaming style. That is to say, if the Venge is not playing it as a safe lane carry. The Winter Wyvern's going to hinder that a little bit, as does the Earthshaker and Witch Doctor, because if any of these guys rotate, you're looking at a multiple sources of damage that's spread out and stuns that can hit multiple targets. With the Winter Wyvern pickup, though, this is going to be either a core Witch Doctor or Earthshaker. Typically speaking, it is usually the Earthshaker, but do you think we're going to be seeing the core Witch Doctor this game?
I don't think so. I think they'll run Earthshaker in an off-lane position, if I had to guess. I really like the synergy of Wyvern's ulti as a setup into the Witch Doctor ultimate and the Earthshaker Echo Sun. It's a little bit tricky now because I think her ultimate got reworked so that you can't actually take damage from the enemy, so Wyvern's team can't actually hurt the side of Not Today when that ult is active, but it's one hell of a setup for a big Echo Slam or Cask into Death Ward.
Yeah, and you took the words right out of my mouth. That the Winter's Curse it used to be such an overpowered spell, and now you can really screw over your team with that one, especially now when you've got an Echo Slam and, Echo Slam and Death Ward, as you said, both rely on just being able to really just do the damage, and you keep everyone from being able to take damage, well, that sucks. So it's going to be great for locking heroes like the Queen of Pain, the Lone Druid, Tusk in place, but with every benefit comes a drawback, and they're going to have to be sure to play around that one very carefully, though I don't think this is the XD Gamers' first time around the park, so they should know what they're doing. We'll just have to keep our eyes on that Winter Wyvern at all times, make sure that he plays this one correctly. Omni Knight will get banned out by XD Gamers. Viper, of course, the hero that no one likes to see, taken away by Not Today. And XD, a little surprising, maybe they're going to grab themselves the Ember Spirit to possibly go up against the Queen of Pain mid. I don't quite like that matchup. I would think Razor would be better suited, so actually it could just be a safe lane Ember.
Yeah, I'm not too sure how they're going to lane it. I know that having Razor against the Lone Druid really benefits the Razor because, as you mentioned, that static link of the bear kind of shuts down the bear, and then you're almost fighting against 1v1 at that point. So I wouldn't be surprised to see if XD puts the Queen or Ember Spirit mid against the Queen of Pain, but I think that's probably the best choice for them, especially if they're going to be wanting to give Earthshaker and Witch Doctor and Winter Wyvern a few more levels, because if they put the Ember safe lane, he's really level dependent in terms of getting off damage and getting to a good start. So I think we're more likely to see a little bit more roaming from the Witch Doctor and Wyvern, which means a Razor in the safe lane.
Man, that worries me really though, as Ember Spirit, he struggles a lot against the Queen of Pain. Most melee heroes do, and even though Ember helps a little bit to have something like the Flame Guard to lock away some of the magical damage incoming, Queen of Pain can easily just kind of run circles around that lane. So I honestly think Razor would be their best bet to go against it, but you're 100% right. Ember is a very level-dependent hero, and Earthshaker, or Witch Doctor, and Winter Wyvern both need their levels just as importantly, if not more importantly. So the Razor, it's going to come down to whether, oh, well, that fixes things a little bit. If they throw that Storm mid and the Queen of Pain off, then this is a lot better for the Ember Spirit. It's not great yet because Storm is another one of those heroes that Ember kind of struggles a little bit against, but it's better than a Queen of Pain matchup.
Oh, I'm just so excited that we have a Storm Spirit game. I haven't casted a Storm Spirit game in ages.
Yeah, it feels like ages ago, as you said. I think he's just such a weak hero now, or people think he's such a weak hero now that he just does not get picked up. He has his strengths, most of those being his split push and his ability to find pickoffs better than nearly any other hero. But he also has his weaknesses. So let's switch over to the in-game here. Nice little video. Oh yeah, look at that.
Lovely. I think we're going to be putting the Queen of Pain safe lane and the Storm mid. Just do the item pickups thus far.
Mr. V, make sure to open your in-game mic right there as we head on into the game. So yeah, honestly, looking at the draft alone, I would say I like Not Today's lineup a little bit better. I think they've got a huge amount of late game potential, some heroes that scale incredibly well as their early to mid game locked down via the Queen of Pain and the Tusk roaming potential. So they've got pretty much all stages of the game, best of all worlds here, but XD Gamers, I think they kind of mismatch a little bit, whereas some heroes are incredibly late game, others kind of need some backup in the mid game. Like Razor is a great semi-carry for a mid game, but he can't do it alone, and I'm not quite sure Ember Spirit will have the power curve that matches up to his. So if XD Gamers, they get this one about 20 to 25 minutes while breaking even, then they can definitely kind of swing away from that and snowball, but not today. I'm worried for XD Gamers that Not Today's lineup is going to be a little bit too hard to overcome.
Yeah, I definitely think Storm Spirit is now like a really late game carry, almost more so than like this mid game roamer ganker, because he just offers so much late in terms of pickoff. Like you almost have to be roaming S5 in the late game. And it's the same with Ember. Ember used to be this like power mid game hero, but he's been more and more transitioning into that late game carry where you see those divines, you see the 2 battle furies and 2 crits. And so
Yeah.
I think both teams have potential to take it into the late game. It's just who's going to have that early advantage and who's going to get that early first racks.
When you talk about Ember Spirit, Storm is probably one of the best heroes to deal with an Ember Spirit in the late game. If you get that Hex up pretty early, speaking of Storm, he's going to have a little bit of trouble here in the mid lane as Razor is kind of running him down a little bit. Some really awkward names. I'm pretty sure I should know who this mid laner for Storm for Not Today is, but this little tag he's got is kind of screwing me up. But whatever the case, it looks like a little bit of skirmishing, not really amounting to that much here in the mid.
Yeah, it could be Benjaz on the Storm is who I would guess would be running it. But yeah, we just saw that great positioning on the Razor to walk up the ramp and secure that early static link for an extra few seconds. If he just links Storm while he's in the middle of the river, Storm just walks on back and pops the link right away, but he had the foresight to move up the ramp beforehand to guarantee those extra few seconds.
And those extra few seconds are crucial. I mean, now that it's a smooth kind of drain of damage, you really got to milk it out for every possible moment. And that ends up being one of the big things that Razor ends up having to win the lane. And it looks like Jokes has had to move in here to help out what I would imagine would be Benhaz and to secure him some extra farm, because the Razor has been running him down and getting those static links off, as you said. So they've got to be really, really careful. Taking a look at some of the other lanes, though, we've got at KT taking on Schofield and Jerry down in the bottom. A solo Earthshaker who seems to be doing fairly well. The lone Druid, though, he's in the jungle. What do you think about this?
I think it's almost a little bit too early to move into the jungle as Lone Druid. Like, you really want to be exerting pressure on the map, and it's really quite problematic because now we've got a Wyvern that's free to roam mid and support the Razor just to prevent any Tusk shenanigans or any sneaky plays, and the Witch Doctor's just free to stack and pull and get levels. So, yes, it does secure Lone Druid's farm a little bit moving into the jungle, but at what cost? The side of XD is really benefiting from this lack of pressure, and Ember's getting solo farm and XP in his lane.
Yeah, we talked about that one in the draft. You mentioned how Ember needed that experience nearly more than anyone, and he's getting it. This is really problematic. The problem that XD gamers face is the fact that Ember Spirit, even getting that free farm, tends to have a little bit of a weak point after his magical damage starts wearing off and he needs his items. But given infinite free farm like he's getting, I'm not sure that's going to mitigate that worry quite a bit, because that Battle Fury is probably going to be coming out around 14 to 15 minutes if that's what he's rushing. And if that's the case, we're looking at a split-pushing nightmare that I'm not sure not today really have that much to deal with, aside from, of course, Ben has on the Storm.
Yeah, for sure. One thing to note is that Earthshaker is actually doing really well. He's almost level 4 at 3 minutes, and they're running essentially a quad bench lane against him. He's still getting levels, and he's just going to be roaming on mid now. But for an Earthshaker to have this many levels early on is really quite troublesome for not today as they go on to the Storm Spirit mid.
Perhaps a tad bit early, too, coming out from Futse, as he's able to walk away outside of that Fisher range. KT, his first gank of the game, ends up being fruitless. That's a real problem, as it takes him away from that experience that he's been getting so masterfully. Now, almost level 4, going to set him back a little bit. The good thing here, though, is that he really doesn't have any offlaner to compete with. He does have a jungler, though, who is now level 5 and climbing. Lone Druid ends up being so strong to jungle with, especially with the Iron Talon. You just blow through those camps really quickly and find a ton of farm and experience. I think XD gamers have to be incredibly careful about how they let this one continue. As the Lone Druid, you do not want him to get that fast Midas or Radiance and then snowball from there.
Yeah, for sure, but how will they go about ganking the Lone Druid or trying to shut him down? Like, invading the enemy jungle is super risky.
Yeah.
They have like a multiple stun lineup. They have Venge, they have Tusk, they have Queen of Pain who's got the blink. As they go on.
Speaking of, they're going to go on KT in the bottom lane, but Schofield gets a little bit too aggressive and ends up being brought down by the tier 2 tower. Credit, of course, going to KT. And now they'll chase down Jerry. They get a bit of a splinter shot out. Oizen is coming in with the paralyzing cast. Gets his vision broken for a short bit. That's enough to cancel the animation. However, he will run into him in the jungle. Jerry's going to turn around looking for that magic missile, but is it going to be enough? Futse is there. Another splinter shot, but doesn't have any creeps to chain it off of, so it looks like Oizen and Futse are going to back off. Schofield's back into the fray, though, and wants to bring down Futse. Oizen's looking for that paralyzing cask, though. 3 seconds. He's got his bounces if he needs it. Splinter shot's out. KT's back in, and comes Ember. 3 remnants, and that's going to be the kill. A second one on Schofield as Jerry soon to follow. Disastrous for not today, as that Queen of Pain, you really do not want to lose her once, but twice, that's depressing.
Yeah, that was a little bit of an overdive by Scott Peel on the initial death on the Queen of Pain to blink in like that, and then Earthshaker just stunned. I don't think she expected Earthshaker to have the 1-1-1 skill build. I think she expected him to only have Fissure, but having the Enchant Totem secured that kill on the Queen of Pain and prevented her from getting off her Scream. Great prediction by KT on that play.
Well, it's an interesting that you mentioned that, too, because he just used Enchant Totem back behind the Tier 2 tower, which she blinked away from earlier on. So surprising that she thought that maybe he didn't have that follow-up stun.
Yeah, I'm not sure what display as we have decided not today going on to the Winter Wyvern. Tries to fly away, but Queen of Pain will be there to link in and scream her down.
Yep, and Oizen trying to deny the creeps, won't get it off. Very close, but as the old adage goes, close but no cigar. I think Razor in the mid's got to be very careful. He just saw 3 expose themselves onto his duo support combo. He's got to play this one a little bit back until he sees them reveal on the map. He hasn't seen any, I think. This Observer Ward for the Dire, of course, going down in the top rune spot. Wouldn't have seen anything anyway. So that's one good thing that the Not Today have pulled for themselves. They get both supports and even up the score. However, KT could be seeing a little bit of trouble on the bottom lane as he pops the Echo Slam, has the damage with the Fissure. Solo with that one, but damn, did it look fine.
Wow. Really well played by KT. Just from getting the early experience to translating it into a solo kill on the enemy safe lane carry. Just excellent play coming out by KT.
Yeah, and I think one point of emphasis, solo safe lane carry, or nearly solo safe lane carry, is that Queen of Pain going down 3 times pre 7.5 minutes, maybe looking for some return kills though as he's going on to Oizen. Has a bit of damage. There is a Scream of Pain out, and with the Fairy Fire, Anjifan or Oizen should be able to survive. 5 seconds before another blink comes off. Schofield isn't going to get that kill, comes up dry on a very important pickoff that he missed.
Wow, that was great play by Aosin. Having the Fairy Fire, skilling that second point in Voodoo Restoration really kept him alive there. And that's just a little bit of the Quap's kind of falling behindness coming into play. If she were level 6, Sonic Wave, dead. If she were level 7, the Scream Pain would have killed Witch Doctor on its own there. So definitely just little mistakes in the early game kind of snowballing and having their effects on these potential kills later on.
Yep. Taking a look back into the mid lane here, the Storm Spirit, despite not dying, he's sitting pretty poor right now. I mean, he's only got 35 CS despite having a fairly free lane. What do you think about this? Do you think this is really oh, actually he's going to take a stack, so maybe I'm going to eat my words here, but do you think this is problematic for Not Today?
No, I think the Storm Spirit's doing fine. He only has 3 CS left in Razor, and at that point you were commenting on, he only had 5. The real disparity was kind of in those last hits, Razor having 15 comparatively to the Storm 6. So a little bit of an experience difference there, especially with the Tusk having to sit mid. The Storm is also very level dependent in the mid lane.
Yep.
So I think he's doing fine. I think he's doing well for what the hero is now. If the hero were a little bit stronger, I think he could be in a really good position. Like this isn't any Sumail 8-minute Orchid or anything.
Yeah.
But I think he's doing fine. He has potential to snowball into the game since his team has given him a chance in this farm priority.
Speaking of item pickups, you think we're going to be seeing the Orchid Rush here, or do we have a Bloodstone first, or what kind of item build do you expect out of this Storm Spirit at this point in the game?
I really think he has to go for the Orchid just to shut down the Ember. If it's not him, it has to be the Quap who gets the Orchid to shut down the Ember. Otherwise, they're just going to have no catch and control for him. Like, they have Venge, they have the Tusk, but I don't think that's sufficient lockdown to keep the Ember down.
Speaking of Ember, he's gone for a little bit of a detour. This is pretty common for Ember Spirits to go for that Boots of Travel Akala build. And as such, we're not going to be seeing that incredibly early Battle Fury, but still for the purpose of his farm, it's going to be pretty quick. I mean, definitely not the 14 to 15, but a 18 to 20 minute Battle Fury with this item buildup is going to be huge, especially with the Boots of Travel. The split push potential is crazy, and really killing him is going to come down to how soon this Storm Spirit can get his Orchid out. Speaking of Storm, though, he takes a lot of damage here in the mid lane. There's going to be an Enchant Totem. KT looking to stun him out, but cannot do so. A very important kill for Ben has to get, and that will be 450 gold, just shy of, to put into the bank account. And look what he's going to find. A nice old, what is this, a triple stack here in his own jungle, so probably can't take it right now. Not enough mana, but we'll be coming back for that one very soon. Good rotations and just good kill for Ben has here. 11 minutes.
Yeah, that was really key pickoff, especially since the Earthshaker has so many levels. The Storm really benefiting from that extra experience and that gold game. That boost will really help accelerate him into the mid game as Ember has just picked up his Boots of Travel. So the Storm now maybe a little bit kind of on the backside of this has a little bit more confidence. He's like, yeah, I got a solo kill, and maybe he'll have the confidence and kind of those, you know, that in-game hype to look for kills on the Ember, right?
Yeah.
And stuff like that can actually make a difference, right? More
Yes.
so than just your items.
Yeah, the morale hit is pretty huge there. Get the Storm Spirit thinking about those ganks and those kills. Speaking of ganks, Schofield could be in a bit of trouble here in the bottom lane. They've got 4 heroes rotated down. Devo is one of them. So taking a break from his farm to look for some kills. This is I guess this makes it a really important gank. If they don't find anything, then it's trouble. But another thing they can find here is some of these stacks that Not Today have built up. I mean, every single camp seems to be stacked on their side of the map or has been stacked at one point or another, which is important. But having one of these stacks go away is going to be equally as devastating for them if it does go, and it looks like it will. KT and Futse will be the ones to take it. Not who I thought would. I think they would have. I thought they were going to rotate the Ember Spirit down to grab it, but hell, if both supports get it, that is very well worth it.
Yeah, I think this is a good decision by them. It gets Wyvern closer to 6, and Ember gets to use his Boots of Travels to kind of repel the oncoming push from the Lone Druid. So I think the bots picked up early by the Ember is actually quite intelligent for preventing that Lone Druid split push from really having an impact and getting those early towers, which ultimately really would help Not Today accelerate into the mid game.
And it looks like Devo wanted to come into the mid to go for this little engagement, but we might see it happen anyway as Futse is getting caught pretty deep. He will take himself out of this one, though, as Benhaz was not quick to see it. Didn't have any stuns for him except for Jerry, who was way too far away, so Benhaz diving on in probably would not have done all that much. We're still seeing Storm without a point into Electric Vortex, which is surprising-ish. I mean, it used to be one of those things that you get a value point in just to cancel TPs or stun them up for a short amount of time, but not having it all on in the bottom lane. Schofield, blink on, a fresh blink from KT. That is a very important pickup, but they get a nice kill on Schofield. And what is that now? His 4th or 5th death in this game, 4th death by 14 minutes. That's how you shut down a safe lane carry, folks. You better take notes.
Yeah, really good smoking coming out on the side of XD Gaming. They really had the foresight to anticipate, hey, pretty sure the R team has wards, let's smoke, let's get into that jungle, let's keep the Queen of Pain down because she's probably a little bit tilted and she'll probably be exposed. And as soon as she moved into that wave, KT was on her and punishing her for that movement mistake.
Right, and Tier 1 Tower, how long ago did that go down? I'm pretty sure I remember it was that bottom push where they stole a stack, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, so that was down. Schofield was pretty out and about, and it looks like he might go down again. Oh, man. Barely able to blink away. Does KT have a follow-up blink to chase him out? It looks like not going to do it, though one Fisher could bring him. Oh, yep, top lane. It looks like they want to bring down Devo, but he is able to remnant himself out. Now 3 heroes caught wayward with nowhere to go. Maybe back to their Tier 1 tower. KT's looking, but not quite able to find anyone. A Savage Roar will be used to try to get them away, but KT's still chasing. Will throw his Fisher into the trees. They catch out the bear. Schofield was able to blink away, though, so not much more. This bear pickup, though, about 300 gold going their way. Poison gets hit by the shards, but doesn't seem like Not Today want to do anything to save this bear. Meanwhile, Schofield out by the secret shop. Has to be really careful. Maybe he tries to go onto Futse, but that is a TP that is a little bit too deep. Speaking of deep, they're going to go in with a snowball now onto Razor. They punch him into the air, but the return from the paralyzing cask, a very bad bounce, but it will make its way back and turn into a beautiful one as they come through. Oh, the humanity. Schofield now is in a little bit too far, but turns around, throws out the Sonic Wave, and is able to get, or at least facilitate, 2 kills going the way of Benhaz, and he gets away at very little HP, probably sub 10 when he got himself into the trees.
Tread swapping, man. Those little plays add up. Really unfortunate that the Ember's creep died. He was trying to bots in there, and I think he would have cleaned up both the Queen of Pain and the Storm Spirit had his Boots of Travel had opportunity to complete, but the Storm Spirits jumped, killed the creep, and Ember wasn't able to join that fight.
Wow, that's pretty important. That Ember Spirit, I'm pretty sure, could have cleaned up not only Schofield, but may have been able to drop down Benhaz, who was at very low mana. But because that double kill happened and no consequence, Storm Spirit may have his Orchid completed within the next couple of minutes. That is incredibly important considering Ember Spirit doesn't seem to be even thinking about something like a Manta Style or a Lincoln Sphere at this point in the game, but once that gets revealed, that is definitely going to be something that he's got to prioritize, as getting Orchided is pretty much a death sentence for a mid-game Ember Spirit.
Yeah, for sure. I'm definitely curious to see whether or not he actually goes Manta before Battle Fury, because he's pooling
Yeah.
his gold now. I would expect him to kind of pick up the Perseverance as he was thinking, oh yeah, I'm committed to going Battle Fury, but I think he knows that the Storm is getting really close to Orchid and is kind of thinking through it now. Will I have to go Manta before I get my big damage item?
Yeah, and that's a very important itemization choice too. And Perseverance doesn't exactly lock you into the Battle Fury. Hold on, Schofield is going to be up on the trees, or up in the cliff instead. They swap him down, but can they still bring him down? No. However, they do find Jerry a nice consolation prize. Unfortunately, that was not the target they wanted to bring down. But speaking of itemization, the Perseverance doesn't exactly lock you into the Battle Fury. You can still go Lincolns if you do go for it, but I think Manta's a little bit better in this scenario for Devo. 2,000 gold. If he buys his Yasha now, we'll know his choice. Otherwise, we'll have yet to see.
Yeah. I'm also very curious to know what the Razor is going to go for with this 1,600 gold. Will he rush eggs and try to push? Will he go something more defensive like a BKB?
Do they have a mechanism yet on their team? I would think a mech could be a pretty decent pickup for him.
Yeah, maybe the Wyvern will go down.
Oh, actually, hold on here in the mid lane. Razor's going to be caught in. Turns around for the Winter's Curse, though, and Schofield wants to throw out the Sonic Wave, but can't quite get it off just yet. It's holding on to it now. The Snowball locking him in. Now turns around, throws it, gets 3, maybe even 4 with that one, as they bring down the Razor. All of them low, but only Schofield goes down. XD losing 4. Not today, putting on a clinic with that mid-fight. That was just disastrous, and look at that. A Radiance completed for the Lone Druid. These items are getting a little bit scary for them. Orchid, Radiance, do they have what it takes to deal with it? As Devo, he goes for a bit of a detour and grab himself a Blink Dagger.
Yeah, I am really excited for the Queen of Pain in that fight. She'd been tilted all game, and then she comes through with her team. Huge Sonic Wave on 3. Really turning that fight and allowing the Storm to clean up in that fight. So really nice to see that the Queen of Pain is still being relevant in the game, even though she was shut down really early on. And this Storm, his Orchid, huge in that fight. Jumps in, gets 1 or 2 kills right off the bat, shuts down the team. Wyvern came through with a pretty big ultimate to try to save the Razor, but the damage just wasn't there on the side of XD.
Yeah, and one important thing to note here with that Sonic Wave, it looked like she was going to spend it on that solo Razor, but held on to it. And then just was so patient, unleashed at the perfect time. I think that could have easily meant the difference between a 2-for-2 trade and the 1-for-4, which ended up happening. So XD Gamers, they got to play a little bit more carefully, but at the same time, we're looking at a safe lane carry now who has hit the peak of his power curve, it seems, and now the magical damage is not going to do all that much since you can't really cast anything to escape or jump around the team fights. And the second Orchid of Malevolence is going to be coming out within the next 2 or 3 minutes, which means even a Manta style wouldn't be enough to save this Ember Spirit. I'm getting very worried for how much they've invested into this Ember versus how much return he's getting, especially considering 10k net worth on the Lone Druid, 9k on Benhaz, and only 8k on this safe lane Devo.
Yeah, for sure. Little cute scrimmage with the Quap and Ember there mid. Devo just going to remnant out though, feeling a little bit threatened if there was any follow-up. Meanwhile, we have engagement in the bottom.
Yeah, they're looking for a couple of kills. There's going to be a Death Ward coming out, but Jerry is not going to take nearly enough damage. A Savage Roar will fly, blocking KT and Oizen back. Now they'll snowball and they want at least one, but Jokes is pretty deep. A Winter's Curse back onto Benhaz. The Bear is going to hit him, but Devo is locked and he is brought down. And Echo Slam will catch on the 4, but is it enough? They get the Lone Druid on the tail and they'll also get Benhaz. Now they want Jerry, and would you look at that? They cast a check that Not Today had written. XD Gamers will bring 4 down in a nice return fight. The big thing here, though, is that look who's dead. Devo gets brought down, and that is super important considering how much he was supposed to be doing.
Yeah, even with their core down, like, that fight was huge for XD Gaming. That Echo Slam was absolutely beautiful. 4-man Echo, just the patience, holding on, not using it for a solo kill. Having that control now enables them to get off of this G2 tower push. Really key pickup by the Razor, I think, with this mechanism as Queen of Pain jumps in with the Scream of Pain. But the counter initiation is there, and oh, swap to save, but Waffle still got down. decided XG just swarms the two potentially a little overzealous not today players as they try to get some cute defend or tower deny in.
Yeah, not today with a little kid going to step on the anthill there. Unfortunately for the kid, it was a bunch of fire ants that just came out, and, well, the kid is no more, being brought down in pieces into the little colony. Well, that's kind of actually very morbid. But with that analogy said, 11-14 at 22.5 minutes. Razor, he went for that mechanism and now has 3,000 gold to his name. Do you think we're going to be seeing something like a Sanjin Yasha pickup, or are we going to be seeing the BKB completed for this Razor?
I think he'll go something a little bit more defensive with the BKB. Just because there's double Orchid on the table already, he doesn't want to get bursted, and he needs to be that kind of key damage dealer in fight. He may go all aggressive and go something like Deso or Sanjin Yasha, but I expect him to probably go for the BKB here.
Alright, and speaking of items, what do you think Devo is going to be detouring into? I think for him, the BKB would also be incredibly smart, but we're looking at a Ember Spirit whose split pushing is pretty minimal without that Battle Fury. It's a struggle for him.
He has to go Battle Fury. I don't think he has any choice in the matter. If he goes Manta or he goes BKB at this point, he's just not going to do anything in fights, and their damage is going to fall off. Yes, there's Orchids on the table on the side of not today, but if he doesn't have damage, there's it's not even really that much of a concern Orchiding him, right? Because if you Orchid him and he Mantas, it's like, oh, well, that's fine because he's not going to do any damage, but, you know, he's a little bit reliant, I think, on having to outplay his opponents with this Blink Dagger now, because he has to go damage now, in my opinion.
And that makes me worry a lot for the supports, because if Not Today recognizes how, I guess, little of an impact that Devo is going to have, I won't say no impact, because obviously he can still get the Searing Chains combos off, which can deal a respectable amount, but we're looking at Oizen, who really wants to be getting these Death Wards off, and he can be brought down very quickly by a Wayward Storm Spirit with Orchid. Same thing really with KT. If they prioritize the supports, what kind of follow-up does XD Gamers have? Because half of that last fight where they got the 4-man wipe was all based on the exceptional play from XD Gamers. I mean, I have to say it twice just because of how amazing it was. They go in, the Echo Slam was right on, but if that Echo Slam isn't there, if they can't cast it, if he's already dead, where is their damage coming from?
Yeah, they're super team dependent right now. They're really reliant on the Witch Doctor and the Earthshaker to kind of carry the Ember for right now until he can come online. The Witch Doctor almost has his eggs, only 200 gold off, so they're definitely going to give him a little farm priority as G2A moves up, potentially into a trap, Earthshaker, Echo Slam. I'm not sure if they'll go for this.
Was there a Storm Spirit there, dude? Wow.
I immediately regret my decision. They will go for it, and they will blow him up.
Yeah, and I mean, all things considered, this is a pretty decent level 11 for KT, 25 minutes or so. So, I mean, the damage that Echo Slam did was monstrous, and now they'll look to turn on to Schofield, who blinks up 5 seconds. Will be without that blink, but doesn't actually need it. The rest of XD Gamers, though, are making their way in. Remember, Razor's got that mechanism now with a fresh Sanjin Yasha. But look at that. The Lone Druid and Jerry will go ahead and sneak a Roshan. That is in Hyperstoke. And Radiance now on the Bear. Of course, Lone Druid himself having very little, but doesn't exactly need items at this point. Only with the Ring of Basilisk for some extra armor. But this is incredible, the amount of farm that this Lone Druid has right now. And they'll have an Aegis to boot.
Yeah, will they get out is the question. I think Lone Druid will be fine. Venge, I think her fate's kind of decided. She'll be going down. But yeah, this Lone Druid's farm has definitely been accelerating with that Midas pickup. So moving into the jungle early, I think, was a really good call for him. As Storm Spirit does a really long zip to farm out some creeps. One thing I'll note on is that Storm went Orchid and then proceed to get like a few good team fight kills and such, but has mainly been split pushing in the past 10-15 minutes. And I think if you go Orchid on Storm, you almost have to be going for the pickoffs and farming almost off the map If you watch Blitz's video on playing Storm Spirit, he does a great job of this, of exerting pressure without being in a lane. He'll farm some jungle camps, he'll hide in the bog, and look for these kickoffs. And I think the Storm has just been a little bit too greedy in his farm, and has been punished for it. But he does pick up the Bloodstone, so he definitely has opportunity now to turn that around and get some key kills.
Yeah, see, that Bloodstone was the one fruit of that greediness that I kind of wanted to comment on. Because, yeah, he's split pushing and not finding kills, but until he's got that Bloodstone, he doesn't have as much incentive to find the kill. Sure, it gives him a little bit of farm, but that split pushing also gives him a fair amount of farm and reduces some of the risk. Now, it doesn't reduce all of it, as we saw up in the top lane, but is pretty reliable gold that he can put in his pocket. So, all things considered, now that he's got the Bloodstone, I tend to agree with you. Yeah, we need to start seeing him be more aggressive, be across the map, and finding pickoffs. But there's a lot of danger in that just because of how much lockdown XD gamers have. And the response they've had so far to some of his rotations has been very good, if not great, especially considering the lockdown. They're using it to its full potential as a smoke gank in. They want to bring down the bear. Can they do so, though? He's pretty tanky. He's got that Aegis mortality, but this could be a double kill if they really want to. A Savage Roar Footsie is taking so much from the bear. Now it turns around on a KT. They can't bring him down. They finally do, but guess who's still alive? The bear is running rampant. The Death Ward comes out, though. They're able to bring down Devo and return. The Orc is out, and it will get Footsie, as now Benhaz will turn out onto Oizen. There is nothing this Witch Doctor can do to stop this, as Schofield gets fissured in. The Razor with the Plasma Field will secure it, as the Lone Druid, large and in charge, has come back from the Aegis, and now will proceed to deal a lot of damage out. Can they stop Oizen from TPing? They get it with the Savage Roar. A 3 for 3, but certainly not what Not Today were expecting when they went after that Lone Druid in the first place.
What a bloodbath. I think super fortunate that they had the Aegis on the Lone Druid there, and he survived for a long time, biding the time for his team to come in. The Death Ward was really good on the side of XC, zoning away the Not Today supports. Yes, the Tusk was able to kind of suicidally snowball in past it, but the Lone Druid's tankiness and just kind of play there really helped secure his team at least an even trade there. It was kind of 4 for 3 with the Aegis being expended, but I think Storm not dying, starting to rack up those Bloodstone charges is really going to benefit them in the future.
Yeah, the Bloodstone charges are a major point of that one, and even though you lose the Aegis, that's kind of what you get the Aegis for. It facilitated a fight that Not Today I don't think are that upset with taking. But the natural tankiness of Lone Druid is obscene. 2,000 gold without any items on his main hero, and now with an extra 16 armor on top of the 9 with the Assault Cuirass and Ring of Basilisk. It's just impossible now to bring him down, and I don't think XD gamers have quite the tools to do so without Devo having the damage he needs, and it looks like he is taking the Manta-style route. Which goes to your original point, where is the damage now for XD gamers, aside from the support spells that are not going to last forever as being the big players?
Yeah, for sure. I think their team is really lacking damage now, and Razor is kind of a weird hero that he needs time to do a bunch of damage. Like, he's got a lot of attack speed now, picking up the Hyperstone and Sanjin Yasha and drums. So he's got a pretty mid-game orientated build, and he's kind of peaking right now in terms of his damage output. We'll definitely need to see the Ember stay alive in these fights and get some key kills. If he were to kill Storm, that'd be huge right now, as he sneaks on by the Storm without even noticing it.
Yeah, they do see him though. They had that Sentry Ward barely, but he will get away. I think Benhaz was kind of smelling. Actually, no, I think he saw it go away. Didn't he?
Yeah. So,
yeah, he realizes that there was something fishy going on and gets out with his last breath. Of course, he was pretty healthy, so I guess not, but not today. They risked losing their Storm. Now they are perfectly fine. A smoke up from XD Gamers, though, are looking towards the bottom lane. Though we saw what happened last time they went on the Lone Druid, maybe this time they'll be a little bit more successful. The line being drawn, of course, by Not Today. They smell it out. They know what's going on. And the bear will TP away. Of course, the smaller bear might fall because of this, but I don't think they're that worried with losing it. as they can probably just respawn it rather quickly, and nothing really of value was lost.
300 gold is about the equivalent of hero kill at this point, so it is some gold and the experience gain on the side of XC, so it's kind of like them getting a pick off, but in terms of giving them opportunity to exert map pressure, not really. I think it's kind of funny that we have the battle of the ACs. Bone Druid picks up his, and now Razor picks up his, as we have a potential engagement from the side of Not Today wanting to counter spoke.
Yep, and this could
XD.
be very good for Not Today. They'll find two pretty much alone, though. Razor gets himself into the trees, needs to fast TP out of this one, actually smelling out the fact that BenHaz is going to look for the TP cancel. He will try to run away. He's got that mechanism, but so much damage coming out. And, of course, the root from the bear locking him. You ain't going nowhere as they bring his wicked streak to an end. 700 gold. Going the way of Not Today. I just realized something. XD Gamers have a kill lead in this game. It certainly did not feel like it. Of course, though, Not Today holding on to a net worth and experience advantage, which is not surprising.
Yeah, they're definitely getting more out of the map. On the side of Not Today, they have a little bit, I think, more map control. If that makes sense, with the Lone Druid offering that split push, with the Storm Spirit offering that gank potential. Same thing with the Tusk. The side of XC really has to be careful, because if Ember's out solo like this, like, yes, he has the Manta, but if there's like two heroes, like both Orchids on the side of Not Today, then he's definitely at risk for a gank. And if he just slips up for 1 second, he's dead.
Yeah, and he's just got a split push, though. So slipping up, at least that Manta style helps out versus the Orchid of the ganking Storm, but it's just so... You're constantly holding your finger on the trigger right there. And oh, he goes a little bit early with that TP. This is real trouble. Can he run it away? He does not have the mana. Oh, man, what a miss. Wait, is he... Did he get away?
The Haste Ruin. Easton bottle charges. Got away with like 20 HP.
I was certain he was going to die there. Like, I was more than certain he was dead. Wow, that is...
He got off the Flame Guard, so he
Yeah.
didn't take the magic damage from Storm's Overload on those last two auto attacks, which really made the difference. I thought he was dead too. Almost looked like Storm gave up partway through.
Yeah.
Oh, I got him.
Well, he also was out of mana, so I don't think the Storm could have continued chasing, but it feels like that was a very big missed opportunity. Whether or not he could have followed up, well, he probably could have cut off the juke path and maybe gotten the last couple of auto attacks off, but regardless, what happened, and I'm sure that Devo's heart rate has not yet gone back to normal speeds. It's probably beating out of his chest right now as they group up in the mid lane, looking to defend against a push which may not be that existent of Not Today or hanging out inside of XD Gamer's jungle.
Yeah, I like how the Lone Druid is kind of forcing them to rotate to him right now, and which kind of exposes the side of Not
Oh,
Today to
hold
these
on, we
games.
got a big fight coming out as Razor's going to come through. Doesn't have that BKB, so he can't cast it just yet. However, the Storm of the Winter's Curse holding the Tusk in place as BenHaz will slap him down. Do they have the damage to follow up with it, though, as Razor, he pops the mech, he will go down, and that is the mech, or sorry, the AC that will be no longer participating in this fight, as Not Today will then just go one by one and bring down the supports. Of course, Devo can't have much to say about it, neither will KT. It looks like he had a couple of opportunities for that Echo, but being forced back and not able to spend it is pretty troublesome. Devo is going to get Orchided up, doesn't have the Manta style just yet, will come off cooldown, ready for the next Orchid to come through. But with no battle for it, this push is just impossible to stop. Devo, what's he going to do? They come through, and it looks like BenHaz, he doesn't even want Devo. He will go for him finally. The Manta will get rid of the Orchid, but the Racks are already dead, and more to come.
I think they suspect that they have no buybacks right now.
Yeah,
There's no buybacks on the side of the side of XD.
So they
This is
continue
super
pushing.
punishing.
surprising though that they'll back off. It looks like XD Gamers are starting to revive, so they're not going to go for that second set of racks, but very crippling to be missing one already. XD Gamers are going to be on the back foot for the rest of the time that they're in this series or in this game one of the best of three, and, you know, possibly going to drop a game to Not Today, which they 2-1 them, or sorry, they got 2-1 earlier on, so this would be a very nice kind of continuation of that dominance that Not Today has had in this matchup.
Yeah, for sure. I think one of the big factors we saw there was that Earth Spirit didn't get off his Echo Clam, which, because the Ember has no damage.
Well, speaking of Echo, he goes in and whiffs it completely as Schofield takes a bit of damage from the Death Ward, but not all that much. KT's dropping pretty low, but what is he without that Echo? Maybe a couple of fissures, as up on the high ground, Razor is taken away to the Bear. They'll turn around, bring down Schofield, but in comes Benhaz. Will go after Footsay. There's one. Now wants more. Turns his attention to the Razor. Should be able to get it, but he's out of mana, so can't continue this one. Will instead go for Oizen, who is a little bit more of a kill that he can get. The swap back will secure Oizen's fate. And nothing more to come from it. It's a 3-for-1, and this opens up another set of racks and potentially the game for Not Today.
I can imagine Not Today's voice as Roshan, push, Roshan, push, we're pushing. Okay guys, we're pushing right now. Because they know that there's no echoes on the table. They know that the Death Ward is still on cooldown for at least another 25 seconds. So they can just push in, and Ember did finish up his Battle Fury, so he does have a little bit more counter push right now, but it's 38 minutes, it's almost 40 minutes in the game, he just got his Battle Fury. Like, how are they stop this push?
And they don't. I mean, you see the kitten's worth of damage that he does right now versus a Spirit Bear who's chunking down that barracks like it's a giant block of cheese, and he's... who's the guy that likes cheese? Crap, I think I put myself in a hole right there. Whatever the case, that bear is destroying the barracks, and there's nothing really to say about it.
It's Chuan that likes cheese.
Chuan? Thank you. Thank you. I didn't know if I was roaming into bad territory with that joke, but yeah, looks like he saved me there.
Yeah. Good old Stacy with the like 10v10 TI references.
Stacy? I thought it was Casey.
Stacy. Similar, not quite the same.
It's weird because I know a Stacy. I'm like, wait a second. What? Nah. So bottom lane is the only lane that remains for XD Gamers. If they have any way of coming back into this game, let's think ideal situations. What do you think it would be?
Not Today decides to go for Roshan and puts all 5 people in the pit. It says, come Echo Slam us or Shaker. Yeah, I think KT has to get off the Echo Slam of his life into maybe like a Winter's Curse that secures an early kill onto the Storm. But the Lone Druid like has to die, and that's near impossible now with the Aegis. Because the Bear just deals so much damage. It's got
Yep, they are going to save him for a little bit, but unfortunately it's not going to be enough to keep him alive. Razor's backing away. Footsay is also in a relatively bad spot. KT gets the Echo Slam off, but it doesn't do anything. As Schofield will turn around looking for the Sonic Wave. Will cast it. It does connect on a 2. Brilliantly placed. Diva will buy back into this one, but it's starting to look grimmer and grimmer by the second as Footsay will take a fall. Devo has to run himself back into the trees, and GG will be called. Game number 1. 40 minutes is the official game time for this one. Not Today showing a dominance that, you know, I haven't seen in quite a while from them, but looks like maybe they can 2-0 or 2-1 this series once again. We'll have to see, though. What do you think? Final thoughts about this game?
I think the Storm did a really good job snowballing into the game. I think the Lone Druid was kind of this hidden factor who moved into the jungle early and then came out and was like, hey guys, you have to deal with me now. And XC, without the Ember damage early on, was reliant on their supports. And as soon as one fight went through, the early fight where the Earthshaker wasn't able to get off his echoes, things just kind of went downhill from there.
All right, speaking of downhill, it looks like XD Gamers, they got to make sure it doesn't continue going down, as they're going to go look into game number 2 with a fresh set of eyes, hopefully. Speaking of game 2, guys, we'll be coming up with that very shortly, so don't change that channel. We'll be right back. are back, ladies and gentlemen, to Not Today versus XD Gamers for the Kings of Dota League Season 2 lower bracket finals. Not Today taking a game of advantage over XD Gamers, and you know what a game it was. Why don't you bring us up to speed, Mr. V, with how you felt about that last one?
That last game was just an absolute bloodbath. We saw team fights with 6, 8 kills going down in them. We saw back and forth. We saw huge co-op ultimates just as she was dying. We saw echo slams that you thought were GG ending. Echo slams, just an absolute fantastic game to watch, an exciting game to cast.
And taking a look at this game, of course, we have the I guess it wouldn't be a respect ban of Lone Druid because XD Gamers took it out themselves, but quite a different array of bans, actually. I think Enchantress is still in the pool, Death Prophet being taken out. God, I can't even remember what was the first couple of bans. I know Enchantress was one of them, but
I think there was
blanking on the others.
And Death Prophet as well.
Didn't Death Prophet get banned out second phase last game, though?
Yeah, it was. You're right, it was second phase. Who else did they ban? Was it OD?
No, OD also got banned out second phase.
Trying to think, all the most OP heroes.
Yeah, I know, right? It wasn't that. It was a kind of interesting first ban phase, because I know Invoker definitely got banned out one way or another. You don't want to give Not Today Invoker. But, you know, I guess it doesn't even really matter anymore, as Vengeful Spear will get picked up first by XD Gamers. It seemed they ran it last game, and they ran it pretty successfully. They don't have the Lone Druid to pair with it this time around, but there are plenty more options in the pool for them should they want to pick them up. So, again, that Ursa, the Enchantress are all in the pool and ready to go, prime for the picking.
Yeah, I think the Venge pick is maybe a little bit early. It's just kind of a safe pick, like, hey, we want to hide our cores and not reveal too much, of course. But with Bat banned out, like, Bat and Venge is a really good combo that we see teams like EG run together all the time. Venge is kind of a natural counter to Bat as well, so I think they maybe could have gone something like a Witch Doctor here as well, but it's just kind of a preference comfort pick for them.
Yeah, Witch Doctor definitely comes to mind as one of those early on pickups too, that, you know, a lot of teams, they find a lot of value in the purple guy, and it's well placed value too. Of course, last game was a little bit of an outlier. I think usually his success is a lot better, but then again, he did play incredibly well despite being a little bit further behind. So Witch Doctor could be one of those coveted pickups, but Not Today will not spend a moment's notice without picking themselves up the Outworld Devourer. And wow, I mean, what a pick for these guys. It's a widely regarded as one of the OP heroes of the meta, and pairing that with a Witch Doctor just makes me shiver.
Yeah, I definitely think the combo has some factors in. With OD, you usually see him as kind of a glass cannon hero. With the Witch Doctor Voodoo Restoration, you got a little bit more sustain. You also have control with the cast, that if OD is ever in trouble, you have a cast going through, and that's kind of that unpredictable factor in the fight. And XD will kind of just respond with a safe pick in the Juggernaut. Ben is kind of nice because you prevent the mana drain, and I think Intelligent Steal of the Orb effect, so it's a safe pick, and I think after that last game they just kind of want to go for something that they're comfortable on and feel good on.
Yep, and I kind of wanted to comment after the last game, like, when you think about what their safe lane carry was able to do, right? We're looking at, what, 15 minutes of uncontested free farm in lane. What hero would you have drafted in Ember Spear's place to do better with that one? And not a lot of heroes come to mind as being incredible in that situation, but most certainly anything else may have been better for them to pick up. And again, it's hindsight 2020, but the Juggernaut was one that came to mind immediately, because you give Juggernaut uncontested free farm in lane, and you're looking at 15 to 20 minutes of pain when he gets his either Battle Fury out or other items. It's impossible to deal with an early game farmed Juggernaut, and even harder as it starts to get in the late game and the kills start stacking up for the guy. So I'm looking at Devo doing a little bit more for XD Gamers this game if he gets the same lane in the same style of play. But if Not Today exert a little bit more pressure on him, maybe it's going to turn out a little for the best.
Yeah, I think the Ember just never built damage that game, right? And he was never able to really contribute hugely into team fights. If they had had something like a Gyro or like a Luna, something with a lot of magic damage or something that walks into the mid game and says, "Hey, like you have to run from me or you're going to die," then I think it could have worked. But having the Ember and the Razor, I think, was just a little bit too much of a lack of damage, which is kind of weird to say because those heroes do have great kind of damage potential, but it's kind of spread out and not always concentrated with your Flame Guard and your Plasma Field and your Static Storms. Or what's Razor's ultimate? Not Static Storm, that's Disruptor, right?
Yeah, it's Eye of the Storm.
Eye of the Storm, right?
Yep. So, as it stands right now, XD Gamers, I'm liking it a lot more. But they need to do a lot more as far as the early game goes and not lose fights like they did, especially around, I think it was the mid-tier 2, right, where they got hit by such a beautiful combination of spells. Not today. Pretty much, I mean, they didn't win it off of that fight, but it certainly did help in the long run to get their item timings out. And speaking of item timings, it's another thing that XD Gamers want to be sure doesn't come out, is the fact that not today they got 2 Orchids despite shutting down the Queen of Pain quite handily. It was 4 kills by 14 minutes that they got on her. She still got a relatively decently timed Orchid out. So not today, they're getting their items out, they're getting their farmer, they're getting their experience. XD Gamers need to put a lot more pressure to make sure that does not happen.
Yeah, for sure. I think with that key fight as well, the Queen of Pain got a really good ult off right as she was dying, and Storm had just picked up his Bloodstone, right? So he got 2 charges like right off the bat.
Oh yeah, that one.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
So that made a huge difference. I really like this tide pick. It's a pretty good counter to the Witch Doctor and Faceless Void. Because not today is some crazy team fight right now with the Sandy's Eclipse, Death Ward, and of course Chronosphere Lockdown. So responding with the tide is like, oh, you want to team fight us? Oh, you better think twice because we have a Ravage on the table.
Yep. And the Ravage is kind of like that Echo Slam that they had in the last game, where it is that huge spell that can do so much in the team fight. And KT, if he's playing that Tidehunter, which I imagine he will be, it has been good at finding those big Ravages, but it again comes down to whether or not today can control the offlaner and the support as well as they did. And it looks like XD Gamers are going to grab themselves a Chen, whether it's Futse or I want to say Oizen playing that one. It's still going to be interesting to see how well it plays out for them, because Witch Doctor typically is known for being good against the Chen. If Faceless Void decides to go for an Orchid build, Outer World Devour also can be picking up the Orchid if they want. But, not Orchid, sorry, Hand of Midas, I meant to say, to burn down those creeps quickly. Chen ends up being a little bit of a liability. So it's going to be one of those things where XD Gamers, they've got to get a lot of momentum very early and start pushing down towers. And their timing limit will come at about the 25 to 30 minute mark, where if they haven't ended or at least taken a Rax by that point in time, then it's going to be a very painful next couple of minutes and maybe even a lost game for them.
Yeah, for sure. I definitely think that they're kind of committing on this push lineup. They'll probably go in early mech on Tide and get Jug to put maybe 1 or 2 points in Healing Ward, and then as soon as Chen has his full army, they'll just look to push down the towers before OD really has opportunity to come online. So, as always, it'll probably come down to teamfight execution, but I think XD is going a little bit mid-game push heavy right now. They don't really have anything to really secure them in the late game. Juggernaut's pretty good, but I think the control of Void and OD is just a little bit too much to handle if we're looking at 40, 50 minutes into the game.
Yeah, a little bit too much to handle. That's the understatement of the century. This is Juggernaut, Venge, Chen. They all have some innate weaknesses, which, okay, not maybe Vengeful Spirit, not as much, but Juggernaut and Chen can be very easy to lock in position and just either kite or just, you know, lock them down and bring them down by holding them in place. So it's going to come down to whether or not today hit their spells, but if they do hit them, XD Gamers could be in a lot of trouble. Of course, we're looking at them, again, ending this one very soon, but Queen of Pain offering now a good amount of wave clear. Faceless Void has been offering a good amount of lockdown. It's going to be trouble for XD Gamers. The Silencer, though, I like the pickup. very cast-dependent heroes on Not Today, where the silencer can screw that up very easily.
Yeah, for sure. This is like all in. Like we have to win a big fight when we use all of our cooldowns because they have Ravage, Hand of God, and Global Silence. Like
Yep.
I'm pretty sure all
And
those
Omni
spells are
Slash.
overtime. Yeah, Omni Slash is also very long. I think it's 70 seconds with the Aghanims, but it's like naturally like 110 or something.
Yeah,
Or
an
maybe
Aghanim Scepter
extended.
isn't really a common item build-up for a Juggernaut anymore either.
No, not at all. And I don't think he'll want to go at this game at all because of the natural long cooldowns of his teammates, of course. The Silencer pick is definitely cute. Maybe they'll go Blink on Tide so they can like Ravage into follow-up silence and kind of push the mech back later, but we're going to have to see XC really make use of that global and really kind of come to play with it as we have a early pause starting the game.
Yeah, this is, I guess, pretty typical. Okay, no, it isn't typical at all. A DC coming out from XD Gamers. I wonder what's going on. Maybe we'll get some more information on that. Hopefully it doesn't hinder our game too much. But I think I talked about the drafts last game. I think I put my vote in for Not Today coming with the drafts. And this time around, I will also go in for Not Today just because of how flexible their heroes are. You mentioned it perfectly, where lots of long cooldowns from XD Gamers. If they don't win that fight and then, either push heavily off of it or avoid fights for the next couple of minutes, then it's kind of a waste to have all-ins for those level 6s, those big spells. So, meanwhile, Not Today. I mean, sure, they've got a couple of big ultimates, but every single hero has a wide array of spells that are not reliant on huge cooldowns. Blink and Scream of Pain, Paralyzing Cask, even Death Ward isn't that long. Rubik pretty much has the entire game as his oyster, and of course OD sustains damage pretty well with just his orbs, so it's a pretty versatile, pretty well-rounded draft from Not Today. XD maybe a little bit too all-in for the Wombo.
Yeah, I definitely think it's a risky play. It's kind of like, okay, we're a game behind. We're kind of, it's not quite a cheese strat, of course, but it's kind of a very all-in draft that they have. And I think they have what it takes to execute it. It's just whether or not today will be the day that they can do it. So I think I'm going to say XT is going to win this game. I think I have faith in them. I think they'll make some creative plays or try to get something going. And Devo's on a hero that can definitely contribute and add a lot more damage in the mid game without being too item dependent. So I think the draft definitely favors Not Today, but I think XC is going to have a few tricks up their sleeve that they're going to pull out this game.
All right, and we can believe in them all we want, but they have to believe in themselves this time around. The push has to be real. They've got to grab a good early momentum, and they've got to get towers quickly. And it looks like Chen, he's already drawn some lines on the map. Ganking is going to be his highest priority right now. And I think one of their big plays here for the early game is to get inside of their jungle and make sure that Not Today do not ward it, do not block any camps so that the Chen doesn't get hindered, because that's going to be pretty huge for that early game momentum that they grab. And maybe they're having a little bit of theory crafting, seeing if he wants to play more of an off lane, using this camp to his advantage, or if he's going to be playing in their jungle. But for right now, again, XD Gamers, push, push, push. Not Today have to weather the storm and hopefully come out with an early game advantage. They don't have to worry about too much.
And the instant double TP, one mid, one to the off lane.
I'm surprised that Oizin's actually going to this top here. They didn't protect their own jungle. Meanwhile, Jerry has been sent to scout out the Radiant jungle. However, he is not going to block any camps. Instead, going to drop a pretty neutral Observer Ward to spot out the Chen rotations. This is a very high traffic area for Chen, too. If you don't see him pass by this area at any given point in time for a 30-second period of time, then you know he's probably off ganking somewhere, and that's going to give away a lot of information to Not Today. As group up in the top lane, both teams putting their eggs in the basket. However, it is XD Gamers, all eggs are in, whereas Not Today have a bit of insurance policy down the bottom lane.
Yeah, for sure. I think XC is going all in on this top rune fight. They got the Venge out there early to kind of scout things out and make sure there wasn't an early ward placed, scouting them out. So they're probably looking to fight here. I really do like the Chen ward placement, but with the addition of the new ramp, kind of right here in the jungle, Chen's able to hide a little bit better if he wants to, you know, maybe walk around like this. But I doubt he'll do that, and he'll probably be scouted.
Yep, and it looks like not today. Realize the rotation from XD Gamers to get that top rune. We'll just kind of hang out a little bit, get some information, find out what items they've got to start with, and then back themselves off. Futse's going to start with a Sentry Ward, expecting that XD Gamers maybe have made, or sorry, that Not Today maybe have made their way in to block a camp, but we'll probably see him wait until a 30-second mark to try for a D ward if any camps are blocked, which none are, so he's not worried. I'd be really surprised if he dewarded this observer up here. That would be incredible presence of mind and just foresight into what strategy Not Today had drafted up for this one. But it looks like he'll play to take a couple camps, gets a Centaur to start. A nice little creep for him to get and to possibly gank with. But we'll see the match unfold as Devo is going to be playing, this time with some contest in his lane.
Yeah. Void kind of got a lucky start here in that XC put so many in the top rune. He gets to start off getting at least level 2 here from this wave, as Juggernaut and Venge had to run all the way down from top lane. But Juggernaut's actually doing a phenomenal job denying him. He's already got 2 denies, so Void's actually going to not quite get his level 2 off the initial creep wave.
That's very important too. That bash is going to be one of those things that allows him to trade hits very easily with Devo. If he doesn't have that ready to go, then of course you saw what just happened. Trading hits did end up working out in Void's favor, but it could have been a little bit more. And well, we'll see him kind of pull some creeps back and maybe find some farm. But for an offlaner, he ain't doing that bad. Speaking of offlaners, there is a non-existent offlaner on the side of XD Gamers, throwing Futse into the jungle with KT also heading into the jungle. Very interesting maneuver from them, but reminiscent of how Not Today played this one last game.
Yeah, it's very similar. I'm actually surprised to see Scott Field on the OD and not on the Queen of Pain. He ran the Queen of Pain last game, and I guess he had some trouble with it, so maybe they just decided to switch things up a little bit here. But yeah, now the forts on the side of XC are pretty free to roam as Rubik snags out the rune from the Tide, who decides to taunt and anchor smash his way away.
Yep, and I mean, he's still kind of trading hits with jokes, but it doesn't seem like this Rubik going to have that much more to say about it. I mean, the damage from Rubik was pretty non-existent. Because of that Kraken shell, Rubik only hitting for 50 damage right now. But it's enough to be a hindrance. It's a little tickle that ends up working out in his favor. KT is afraid to make his way in, worried about what else might be lurking behind the Grand Magus, and he's also afraid to try to take this camp because he knows he doesn't want to split the experience or put himself into a position to take harass from those creeps. So wasting through a lot of mana right now, and he can't even stack this. His jokes, oh my god, this is such a nuisance for him right now.
Yeah, Joke's really making good use of his time right now. Usually you see supports like level 1 at 3 minutes and you're like, oh, what are they doing? But he's absolutely really hindering the Tide. Meanwhile, mid, we do see that the bottle has come out for the Queen of Pain, but she decides to throw it back right away.
Yeah, and over in the bottom, lots of harass going either way, but Oizen is doing a fantastic job at harassing out the Void and keeping him back behind the creep wave. I mean, he's level 4, so it's looking really good for him, but so too is Devo on that Juggernaut. So breaking even, maybe looking to throw out some little bits of harass. He's going for a 2-1-1 build to prioritize the cooldown on his time walk and make sure that if he does end up trading any hits, he can easily revert the damage that comes his way.
I definitely think the Void's getting more than the Tide, though, in the comparison. Yeah. Like, OD is free farming. He actually has 7 CS more than the Juggernaut right now, so you can see how much Void is actually impacting the lane. So I think Void is really contesting, really adding this pressure onto the map, while Tide is kind of just taking up space and giving space to the other team.
Yeah, and it's amazing to see that the Faces Void doing this well, but I mean, it comes down to Void's got the escape and Tide really doesn't. So it looks like KT will go back to the jungle and make up for lost time. Meanwhile, the Silencer in the mid lane, this is very important. He is a very vulnerable hero, but in comes Futse to help out. A blink back from Benhazem will secure the kill. He's silenced up, has the Arcane Curse on him, but it's not going to be enough to take him to death. So first blood will go the way of Not Today. A very important first blood for Benhaz to get. And of course, Silencer going down at this point in the game is pretty troublesome.
Yeah, and I think the huge thing to come out of that fight as well is that the Rubik got levels for that. He'd just been kind of preventing the Tides farm for a bit, but for Rubik to get closer to level 6 and have that spell seal and be able to contribute to team fights is actually going to be huge for the side of Not Today.
Yeah, and speaking of spell steals, I mean, there are lots of really good spells for him to steal. Of course, that is considering that they don't get another spell off and the Global Silence is used to stop it, but Jokes has plenty of options for him in this game that can devastate XD gamers if it turns the other way around. And speaking of devastation, Devo is looking to bring down Void, but that Time Walk almost securing his life, but of course a crit from Devo will end up ending it. So a good gank from Futse, and of course an incredible time to kill the Faceless Void. As the Tide, well, he hasn't died yet, so I guess that's one thing that the Big Fish has going for him.
Yeah, that kind of evens things out. Like, Tide's a level behind, but Void definitely has more farm and has exerted more pressure, but in feeding over the kill right there, and Nailson's taking a few too many tower shots, he kind of gives back a little bit more to the Jug, which makes everything kind of okay for the Tide.
And now Void will have his level 6. He goes back behind, pops the Chrono onto Oizen, who should end up dying from this. It's very close, actually might stay alive, does stay alive, and Omni Slash will then bring down Oizen. Devo's in, he's going in for the Blade Fury, and Benhaz gets brought down. Very, very big kills for Devo to grab, and also, you know, okay, fine, the Silencer was not there to steal any intelligence, but still was there for a little bit of added insurance for that fight.
That's huge. They get 2 kills on 2 enemy cores. They get the tier 1 bottom tower. Frees up Juggernaut to move in towards this next item. I think he's already got his Ikea on the way.
Yep.
So the big turn for XC, who definitely needs to snowball this mid game. If they want to win this game, they have to keep up the pressure and keep getting big kills like that.
Yeah, and using that Shen as a catalyst too. He was there with the creeps. They wanted that tier 1 tower, and perhaps a little bit too aggressive from the Faceless Void to go in for that Chronosphere, but it ended up blowing up in his face in the end. Again, hindsight 2020, but potentially saving that and letting the tower fall might have been the better play. Regardless, they will lose that tier 1. They lose 2. Meanwhile, Schofield in the top brings down KT, and of course, caught the tail end of the sound effect of the Sanity's Eclipse as that is spent to get the Tide to death.
Yep, kind of expected. If Tide's not in the jungle, he's just kind of a risk, and OD just deals so much damage early on, especially with this early stat build, that it's kind of inevitable. If he walks up and tries to contest CS, he's just going down the way it goes.
Right, and he will make his way back up to the top, but he's going to run into a little bit of issues as Jerry is up there as well. Though they're rotating up Futse. They want another one of these pushes as Devo also is up here. Looks like they're just going to go for it and maybe take another tier 1 tower. Not today. There is a tornado coming away of the Wild Wing Ripper, I think. No, it looked like it was casting it, but I guess not. What is Futse doing? Okie dokie. He's got all of his creeps up. They were up, I guess, bringing even more. As they go in for this one, they will unleash onto Schofield, but it doesn't seem like they're going to find too much. The Paralyzing Cask ended up stopping the Futse for a short amount of time, and Schofield is all the way back to his tier 2, but still no response from Not Today, as they haven't quite made their attempt to stop this push. Instead, they will go in for a trade with a Faceless Void on the bottom lane, and of course, Benhaz and Jokes here in the mid. This could be good if they get 2 tier 1s for the price of 1. I definitely call that worth it.
Yeah, for sure. Global Silence is up, so the side of XD is definitely looking to fight, and Not Today recognize this and instead choose to split the map, going, do you want a global? Fine, but it's not going to be in a full team fight and you're not going to get a whole lot out of it. And as soon as the Jug TP's bot, what do? They move in looking for kills.
Yep, there is no glyph to spend though, so this tower is going to go down. A disengage from XD Gamers. We'll see if it's clean. Schofield's in, does a little bit of damage. KT will come out of the Astral Imprisonment. Doesn't have his Ravage just yet. He is just barely away from that level 6 as a Chronosphere will catch on to 3. Schofield's in, but no Sanity. They come in with a Sonic Wave though, and it will catch all 3 in the Chrono as Oizen also goes down. Futse to fall, and that push ends up getting them the tower, but losing them more than half of their team. I wouldn't call that worth it at all. They do preserve their other tier 1s, but damn, what a fight for Not Today to take.
Great fight, and that's just smart play by Not Today. As soon as the Jug TP's out, the primary damage is gone, and they move into fight. Like, OD made a pretty dangerous move walking up that hill, but it was fine. Like, what's a Jug and Venge, or what's a Tide and Venge going to do to him, right? Stun him? He just Astrals one backs out, right? And that gave him time for his teammates to come in.
Yep.
And Silence vs Global, what does it do if they don't have Jug to do the damage during it? Void's just like, okay, I'm Silence, I'm just going to wait and then Chrono you afterwards. A really good play by Not Today there.
Yep, and a very important thing was KT did not have that level 6, so now he's got it. The Ravage is ready to spend, potentially turning around fights like that one, but for right now the damage has been done. Faces Void. He's got only the poor man's shield. Okay, now he's got a little bit more. Ends up going for the Bassi. He's got a Quelling Blade. You think he's going to be going for a Battle Fury? Severely doubt it, but I mean, he's got it.
I think this was just to kind of contest the Jug's farm in lane.
Oh, so you're saying he had it before and it was just off his inventory for some reason?
He may have got it recently. It's either for jungle or to contest the Jug's farm. I don't think he's going to go Battle Fury. I'm more anticipating he'll go something more utility like Vlad's into Blink or something like that.
Speaking of utility, Benhaz is going all in for a Yule Scepter, what it looks like. Instead of the typical Orchid we see, what do you think about this item?
It's countering the Silencer. He doesn't want to be completely disabled by the global. Yes, the Yule throws him up for 2.6 seconds or so.
Right.
But
Removes
it
silence.
just enables, yeah, it removes the global silence, enables him to contribute to the team fight faster, and also enables him to kind of disable the Tide. If Tide blinks in, he has that Yule's pre-cast on him, then he can essentially prevent a big Tide ulti.
Oh, taking a big ulti, Nether swap in to that Ravage. Benhaz is as good as dead. That was a lot of commitment for Queen of Pain right there, but it pays off as now they're free to push down this mid-tier 1 tower. But once again, it seems Not Today want to go ahead and go for that split push. Their tower push is not really that great, but I think finally they should be able to get at least something out of the tower game.
Yeah, this will be a free tier 1 tower. I'm surprised that Not Today is actually this low at pushing. But if you look at your lineup, it kind of makes sense. They have a Witch Doctor, Rubik, and an OD. Not a whole lot to offer in terms of split pushing potential, but
Right.
they could potentially look to fight right now that they know that the global silence and the Ravage is down. And so they're going to smoke up by their secret shop and move into the Radiant jungle.
Looks like they're going to change their course of action, though, as they see 3 heroes up on the top lane. Those are the better targets for them. They go into the jungle. Well, they don't find anyone. Actually, it looks like they'll find Oizen, who is now way without a support to back him up. They come in with the Astral Imprisonment, and even though it locks him in place for a little bit of time, what is XD Gamers going to do about it? Absolutely nothing. Revenge will go down, but as far as the commitment spent for a kill like that, it's an entire smoke gank and 10 or 15 seconds of time for XD for Not Today to find that kill, and it is only the Vengeful Spirit.
Yeah, I still think it's the right play to make, though, right? They know that 2 major spells are down, and they kind of got unlucky and ran into the bench, so XD did a good job in minimizing their casualties, but now Not Today will look to take a tower, and I don't think they can contest because Tide's ult and Silencer's ult are still on cooldown for another 20-40 seconds.
Now major push coming out from Not Today. Their tier 2 bottom's taking a little bit of harass, so they will rotate someone down to help it. It is Faceless Void, who is ready, has a Chronosphere, and will pop it onto Devo, taking a bit of damage from that Blade Fury. He's got to be careful of the Omni Slash, but they come in with a Telekinesis. Hand of God comes out with the Omni Slash, but it will end up being ending soon because it's only a level 1 Omni. And, of course, Blade Fury stolen by Jokes. Didn't really make that much of a difference. Still, they brought down Devo. A very, very big kill and potentially opening up the bottom tier 1 tower.
Yeah, I think that was a little bit of a misplay on the side of XC. I think they should have just had the Jug spin and then have them TP out and not expend the global. Because now they could fight this tower. That's this last save.
Right, the lack of a global silence is pretty huge, though Schofield is being caught in a bad spot, will pop out with a self-astral imprisonment, has a Sane's Eclipse, but I don't think he wants to spend it, realizing he's most likely dead.
Good defense without their Juggernaut, as he goes mid to kind of counteract Benjan's push.
Bit surprising though, considering they had 4 or so committed to that bottom lane, and they were just like, "Oh, OD, you're pretty much dead. We're gonna leave you to die." So they were not willing to protect his life, and he was pretty deep, so maybe it was a smarter play. But in the end, OD going down, certainly not a hero that you want to actually die. And now Faceless Void, he's being scouted by an Observer Ward, doesn't quite know it yet, but he's about to run into 3, and that is enough to say goodbye to the Faceless Void. Of course, there is a Ravage pop for it, but they get a tier 2 off of it. I wouldn't say it is that bad.
That's not too bad, and Chronosphere is still on cooldown, right? So we'll be back up when he respawns, so not a whole lot is lost in terms of teamfight potential, but XZ is going to move into the Roshan, and I don't think Not Today can really contest this without their Void or the Chrono, but I don't think they could have contested it even with the Void out.
Yeah, because, I mean, well, you catch all of them in a Chronosphere. It could potentially set up the Sanity's Eclipse and the Sonic Wave, which may give you the kill, but without the Void, as you said, there is no way they can go for it. So they get themselves a tier 1 in the mid, a little bit of gold to add to their stash, but it's not quite enough just yet. They'll go for another smoke, and maybe they'll find KT this time around. Could be a decent kill. Slow down that blink, or at least stop it, as he is sitting at, what, 1,100 unreliable gold. This kill is huge. They've got to do it fast, though, and they do end up getting him down. Drops 200 gold, and is now that much further away from that blink dagger.
A little bit of a misplay on the side of XC. They have the reward placed here, and they also have one here. And they saw the 3 heroes move in like this, so if they're not showing on the map, they had to be smoke moving up like this, so
Yep.
I think that was preventable.
And so now it opens up again, another tower. Of course, Ravage is back in 50 seconds, so even when Tide does come back, you're looking at a lack of a big team fight ulti. But it seems XD Gamers, they want to make a move on this one. They'll go ahead with a Magic Missile out onto Void, and with a Global Silence that keeps him from just being able to time walk away. So he gets brought down in very similar fashion to the OD last time around. And now the smoke up from XD Gamers. They got that 1 kill. Now they're edging for more. But can they find Benhaz? The Global Silence is down, so that is not on the plate. And he's got a Yule Scepter anyway, so that is not available to help him out. It looks like Benhaz will walk face first into Oizen, swaps him down, goes in, trying to find the Magic Missile. They self Yule Scepter up. He's got the blink now. Can he blink away? He'll blink to the side. And of course, they scout him out. But can they secure this kill? No. He's got his blink back off cooldown, and will just run circles around them quite literally. But XD Gamers in this time will go for a push into the mid tier 2 tower. Jokes, does he go for a steal? No, just going in for the Fade Bolt.
He's got the blink dagger up, so huge potential for counterplay now on the side of Not Today with the repick.
Yeah, but they've got to get this Benhaz back up to a good sum of HP. XD Gamers, they're going to go for their push now. And, I mean, I don't really see how well this works out for them. It could, no, they're going to go for the top tier 2 tower. Pushing high ground is incredibly difficult at sub 20 minutes in the game. Even after that, they've got to be constantly careful, because they lose a tier 3 push. That pretty much just stops their lineup altogether. Like, they have to, whenever they push high ground, they've got to commit for that Rax, or else they're probably never going to be able to do a successful push after that.
Yeah, they're just biding their time, waiting for Global to be up. Silencer has his Orchid on Courier if he wants it, so I think this will be the defining moment here. They'll take the tier 2 relatively uncontested, and then when it comes to the high ground push, everything will go crazy. Unless they use this swap invis, no, it's going to expire to get a good initiation. So we'll see whether or not today decides to fight in or outside their base.
Yep, and Ben Haz will get hit by the stone. A nice sum of damage, but not a very long stun. Chronosphere comes out. Devo's taking a lot of damage here, but gets swapped out of the Chrono. A Death Ward is hitting Oizen for a good sum, but can they finish it up? The Ravage will come out, but so too will the Sanities. Ben Haz takes a bit of damage from that, but he is able to get the Eul Scepter off to protect his life. Only one dead so far. In comes the Global Silence. The Aegis Immortality will get popped onto the Silencer. Schofield taken and ticking from the Arcane Curse, but will survive through it. It is a 1-0, but it seems like Jokes doesn't want to end at just that. Goes in for the last Arcane Curse that he had stolen, but can't seem to find the kill. A lot of damage coming both ways, and a lot of spells used for only one death and an Aegis to be popped.
Well, that was so clutch that the OD lived there. If the OD dies,
Yeah.
I think that's the tier 2 tower gone, and maybe a push into Rax. I'm not certain on that, but OD living there with sub 60 HP. I clicked on him, he was like 58 HP or something.
Yeah.
It was huge, decided not today. What a fantastic initiation from the Faceless Void, though. To get that Chronosphere onto the Jug and the Silencer.
Jokes just stole Global Silence. I mean, there cannot be a bigger play that just happened in this game. He's going to have Global Silence only for, what's the duration of Spell Steal? 180 seconds, but that's more than enough that you need. So that Global is going to open up so much, but Jerry, oh, the bounce to the creeps! That is, oh man, we're seeing XD gamers so much going against them in these last couple of seconds.
Wow, just the worst luck, I guess, if you can call it that. Like, I guess it's a mixture of skill and luck. Like,
Yeah, to be fair, there were two creeps that could have taken that off of him. So if he had gotten that kill, it would have been luck.
Yeah,
But
definitely huge misplay on the side of the Silencer. Like, if you use Global, you have to use something afterwards.
Yep.
Are we sure it's not just the cosmetic? Oh no, it is.
Yeah, it's Global Silence.
Yeah.
Like, I don't see how you try to stop this push. And right now, XD gamers, they have to know by now that, well, okay, they have Global Silence. We just have to wait for it to end. But 180 seconds that gives Not Today free reign across the map is more than enough for them to engage and get some map control. And by getting that tier 2 tower, they have gotten some of that map control. There are still 2 left on the board that they can try to muscle down. But for right now, I think they're quite happy with what they've gotten.
Yeah, just having the Global is huge because it gives OD time to farm his BKB. It gives Quap time to finish her eggs, which she now has. And she's probably going to get a kill on the Silencer here. He's going to have to Orchid her to try to make his getaway.
Yeah, but he's not getting away unless he pops Global and TPs. But yeah, he's dead. I mean, it's a good restraint that he hasn't popped anything more. The Hand of God, maybe they turn it around, but the Eul Scepter is going to keep Ben Haz in a relatively good amount of HP. So 48 seconds without a Silencer. He does have buyback, and that buyback will facilitate the Global, but for right now we've also got a couple of seconds left on the Global for Jokes, who is sitting, what now, at about 60 seconds? Or, no, 50 or 40
it's less
seconds.
than a quarter of the time.
Yeah.
So
Doing my math wrong. But yeah, so having it up for this next tier 2 push is going to be huge. But after that point, then we're starting to see a little bit of drawback and pushback from XD gamers because they know that cooldown's down. And if they were smart, they would have taken the timer for the Rubik and know that it's down in a couple of seconds. He pops the Global just because it's about to go down. That facilitates Void to maybe find the Chronosphere, but he will not do so. The tier 2 drops pretty low, but it won't go down. Do they know Jokes is here? He's kind of waiting, kind of watching. Will go for his TP as all the creeps come in. The tier 2 will not go down, and Not Today will back off.
yeah, pretty safe push. I like that they left the tower out of deny range, so they secure that if they want to come back and get the bounty for that tower, they can. As we see XD decide to smoke up. I think this is almost desperation smoke. Like, they're still in an okay position, but they need to get something to happen. They need to come online, they need to maybe try to get a Rax before the 30-minute mark, and they need a pick off to make that happen.
Right, and they could find Void, but he's got his Blink Dagger at the ready and just gets himself away, smelling the scent of Radiant heroes in the air. Will get out of there in due time, and not today. I mean, they know that this smoke is going on, or if they don't know what's going on, they at least have very good positioning once they figure it out. And that desperation smoke, as you called it, XD Gamers, it will not end up working out for them. Though a couple of siege creeps being stolen out by Futse will be enough to kind of muscle down another tier 2 tower. I think not today. They've got enough tools in their arsenal to go ahead and try to contest this one. A smoke gets bought, and maybe that will be it for them.
Yeah, I think not today will concede the tier 2, but defend high ground for sure. If they want, they can try to make a Void play outside of towers, kind of bait them in with the OD, but we'll see.
Schofield's actually dead. He pops his BKB. A Chronosphere will come out, but Schofield's already gone. Jokes comes back behind. He steals Omni Slash, and now the Sonic Wave will come through and connects onto 3, but the Chronosphere has ended. And wow, 2 down with no buyback, and what a turnaround from what we previously thought. XD Gamers are in the prime position to get this push rolling, and this Rax, you know, 25 minutes should be going down. Of course, Ben he'll have his Sonic Wave back up in 20 seconds. They've got to defend. The glyph is down. They spent it for that tier 2. Ben oh man, dropping so damn low. That's it. I mean, the racks are gone, or at least the range racks are gone. Omni Slash will get spent, but where is his follow-up? He'll blink away immediately. Yeah, this is trouble.
What a misplay by the OD to move forward there. I think he thought he could get away with the drums and Atos just kiting everyone, but the drums were also popped by the Juggernaut as they
turn around the Ravage. Oh boy. Rubik, no Steel Wave of Terror. They come in with a Faceless Void who will promptly get himself out of there. Devo's in with the Blade Fury. The buyback now from the Queen of Pain. They're looking for more. They're trying to find Futse. Do they have this done? They've got the Paralyzing Cast, and it bounces to Devo. And they should be able to bring both of them down. A decent fight off the back of a lost Rax, but it's still a lost Rax for them.
They needed that so badly.
Yeah.
Especially with the quad buyback at 2630. I think they either are looking to go for counteracts or at least get some type of play, like they take a tier 2 and then go Roshan. Because they are really in a disadvantageous position right now. And they have 30 seconds, no jug. Maybe try to force buyback and then go back and Roach would be like the ideal, but with the... I guess Tide doesn't have an egg, and they really don't have much deep push on the side of XT. But not today, just going to back up and take Roshan. Make the safe play instead of trying to push high ground.
Yeah, and this, I think, is a smart play for them. Like, be safe, get yourself that Aegis, deny it in the hands of XD Gamers, and don't put yourself in a position to end up losing another team fight. And even though it's a team fight at XD Gamers' base, the top wave is getting very close to pushing in. So if they win a fight, they ignore the creeps, they walk down mid, and they get a second, maybe third set of racks. So the Roshan will go down, not today. Grab himself the Aegis Immortality, put it on to Ben as Schofield, I guess, is feeling confident. Of course, BKB is down a charge because of using it during that Omni Slash, but for right now, not today. They need a little bit better and a little bit more coordinated of a high ground defense, and maybe we'll see them holding on for another couple of minutes.
Yeah, I think they'll be fine for as long as they have Aegis, unless XC decides to go for some smoke play into the Aegis. I think that's kind of unlikely. I think they'll just stay back, wait for 33, 30, and go from there. Let the Aegis expire, of course, and then go for their secondary push, because they already have top pushing in, and that kind of secures them a little bit more easy access into the Dire jungle as well, because the lane will naturally kind of push in. If they want to go smoke in, they have easy chances. Goyfield's kind of far up for being alone with this Rubik. I'm surprised XD didn't try to jump on there. They had Ravage up, but I guess the Dire is also out of vision as well.
Looked like they were making their way to try for it, but ended up backing off the last possible second, realizing that they were backing off. So a good play from Schofield to recognize a little bit farther ahead and get himself to safety. But XD Gamers, they're out for blood, and they sense it in the water. They've got 2 dragons. Those fireballs are devastating for your creep waves. So it looks like this push should be pretty strong coming into the mid lane. Not today. They've got to make this work, because they lose this fight, they lose the game.
Yeah, the Mother of Dragons is on her way with her children. I think she's looking for another one down bottom, but she'll only have Granite Golems, which
That's
is actually
really
pretty
good.
The Granite or
Oh wait,
the
he can't get it.
15%?
He's only got the level 2 ulti. He can only have 2 ancient creeps.
Right. Really low XP game on the side of both teams, I think. It's been kind of brawly and not so farmy. So, kind of interesting to see, like, people being, like, even the mid silencer hasn't hit 16, it's 30 minutes into the game.
Yeah, it's pretty important, but that is, as you said, it's a characteristic of brawly games like this. Speaking of brawly, it's a smoke up in the mid lane, but that Fade Bolt may have revealed it, as XD Gamers are going to back themselves off by their own Ancient Pit, get the high ground advantage, and say, you want to fight us? Well, come at us. We're waiting.
Yeah, for sure. Eggs on Chen no longer reduces the cooldown of the heal as well, so it's pretty important. Like, that spell is huge for his team, offering that sustain and that mech, essentially global mech effect. So,
Yep.
I think XE is in a fine position if they just play it safe, in their base, let the Aegis expire, because they know it's going to expire here in 2-3 minutes, and then they can look to take a fight.
Right, and not today are in any real point of power to try to push the high ground. So if they push in to XD Gamers, they're constantly at the disadvantage. So it's coming down to exactly that. Wait out the Aegis, farm up as best as you can, and we'll see where it takes them. The only downside here is that they are letting Not Today get a couple of big items out. Of course, the Aghanim Scepter has been done for quite a while on Benhaz, but now he's got 4,300 gold on top of it. Aghanim Scepter just completed by Jokes. I would imagine Aghanim Scepter getting close for Jerry. It looks like he's about 2.4k gold away, so maybe not that close. Outer World Devourer has a BKB plate mail done, 1,100 gold in his pocket, probably looking for a Shiva's Guard. And of course, Faceless Void with the Vladimir's offering, now with 2.6k gold. We'll see what he buys up next.
Yeah, I was just kind of thinking about how Not Today is going to look to push, and their answer is probably kill the other team and then push towers when they're all dead, right?
Yep.
They don't really have a good, let's put this person up at the front to hit towers, right? Like, I guess they can put Void up in front and kind of like time walk him back, but he doesn't do a whole lot of damage to towers. He has Treads, Splats, Torment Shield, right?
Yep.
So he's not going to be like doing huge damage to towers, so like it kind of has to come from the OD and the pop if they're going to push, and I don't think pushing uphill for them is at all realistic. They have the Aegis now when they're even scared to do it.
Yeah, it's very unrealistic for them. They've got to get a whole lot of damage out, and if they are able to weather the storm, I think it's going to be probably about 45 minutes before they can comfortably push towers, unless they get a 5-man wipe with no buyback. Then, you know, even the slowest tower pushers can probably break your base. But for right now, we're just seeing them farm up. You know, the Assault Cuirass is going to be pretty important. Whether or not they've got a drums, if they don't, they should probably think about getting one. Okay, they do have a drums on the Outer World Devourer, but get the Assault Cuirass up and look to boost up your individual damage from there, and then the tower pushes will come naturally. But for right now, the Assault Cuirass still hasn't been finished by anyone, and we're still looking at, you know, a relatively weak tower pushing, as we've said, a lineup.
Yeah, Pop actually decided to go for BKB instead of the Assault Cuirass, which I think is pretty good.
Yes.
There isn't a whole lot of magic damage coming out from the side of XC. They have the Ravage, the Magic Missile, and kind of gun stuff, but most of XD is kind of reliant on their Jug doing damage in his ulti and maybe some silencer right clicks. Sure, but I don't think it pierces spell immunity. So The BKB is definitely like a, I don't want to be controlled and I need to get off my spells statement from the quad, but it's definitely not a we're going high ground item either.
And I also want to add, we're looking at Juggernaut. He buys himself a Scotty here. So obviously he doesn't have a battle fury. His individual push isn't that strong. His Omni Slash is really going to start scaling off very soon. And once that does scale off, do you think his right click alone is going to be enough to help them carry into the mid lane or into the late game?
I don't think so. I think that's why he wants Scotty. He wants the HP to be able to sit up here and hit the tower like this. If he doesn't have a Scotty, he won't smash stuff like this as they jump on him with the lift and pop abilities.
Yep, and they'll spend the first Sonic Wave, which does a good fair amount of damage, but of course Devo with the healing ward. Oh man, the Rubik illusion will clear it out. Devo still gets a pretty good use out of it, but not today. Are now going in for the back around. They go in, they've got themselves a Chronosphere, and Aizen gets caught in it, so he can't swap anyone out, but Void is still taking so much damage. They didn't quite have the follow-up. Schofield will get swapped back now, and he is down. 2 cores dead with no buyback. This could be it for XD Gamers. Not Today are losing out all of their heroes, and even with the BKBs, it just was not quite the damage they had, or they didn't quite have enough damage to burn through the lineup of XD Gamers, and of course the Hand of God being so useful for that one. In comes XR, in comes KT with the first Ravage. Doesn't have his Refresher's Orb completed just yet, but doesn't even need it. A buyback now from Ben has. Can they hold them off here? This buyback is pretty important. They've got to kill Devo. They do kill him. No buyback onto the Juggernaut. And Futse also could be going down. Huge that their tier 3 tower is still standing right now, but maybe they find more. Jokes, he has stolen the Gush, which means he gets a nice wave. Quite literally a wave of terror, as he also steals Wave of Terror.
Good steal by Jokes there. I think OD really blundered by using his BKB before the Global Silence. He wasn't able to hit Jug with his Arcane Orb during the Chronosphere because he popped his BKB after or before the Global Silence. And he also wasn't able to use Eclipse during that time. So Jug was actually able to survive. I don't think he was spinning during the Chrono. So just a little misplays really add up. I think the Void Initiative was really good. He caught 2. I think he caught the Jug and the Tide.
Jug and Venge he caught.
Yeah, Jug and Venge. So Venge couldn't save, which is essentially what you want to do with the Chrono, right? Prevent Venge from being able to swap.
Well, they're looking for a pick in the mid. They want KT. They've got him with the Stifling Dagger, or the Shadow Strike rather. But it looks like that won't be enough damage to bring him down. Plenty of damage coming out, but it just doesn't seem like they're doing quite enough to secure at least some sort of advantage in this game. But what do you think about the tier 3 still standing in the mid lane? I mean, a lot just went down in that fight, but still Not Today. Hold on.
Yeah, I think the Rubik Illusion sniping the Jug healing ward actually made a big difference there, because Jug barely died, right? He died to like he took a Shadow Strike or something like that right at the end. So if he had had the healing ward there, great push. I think XC is fine with just waiting a few seconds, making sure they've got their Ravage and their Global Silence, which are both off cooldown within 30. And they'll just go again mid. They'll definitely be able to take the tower, and as long as they don't get, or they take a fight as favorable as the last one, I think they'll do just fine and be able to take the racks and close out the game.
Right, and it looks like a counter ward attempt from the Rubik gets stopped short by some... actually, no, that was a freshly placed ward. Okay, he just kills a ward. Nice. I'm betting he's liking that extra 50 gold. Speaking of Rubik, Jokes, he's got the Aether Lens and Aghanim Scepter and a Blink Dagger. He's been making some really good plays so far this game. At this point, do you think him stealing a big spell like a Ravage, okay, of course is going to make a huge difference in the team fight, but with his item build, do you think we're going to be looking at this Rubik being the major player for the next couple of minutes?
I don't think so. I think it will come down to OD. He is essentially the carry. He is their damage.
Alright.
Rubik has definitely opportunity to make the big plays that like secures the wins, but I think his team around him is really what has to come online and win the fight.
Speaking of online, Devo is in the Roche pit. Doesn't give a care to the world as the fight initiates. The Chronosphere actually catching 2, and that will be able to bring down Oizen immediately with no buyback. And this is a systematic destruction of XD Gamers. As the Omni Slash comes through, they're splitting up the damage nicely. KT's in, looking for the Ravage, gets it off, and it should be able to bring down Ben has 101 seconds as Faceless Void is trapped. The second Ravage rather. As Void ends up going down. Schofield in a lot of trouble here. He's also going to disrupt himself with the Astral Imprisonment, but he is as good as dead. And wow, that fight, you know, the sustain from XD Gamers is huge, but the double Ravage right there meant more than anything else in this game, as it was able to facilitate the destruction of the Queen of Pain, Schofield, and the Faceless Void.
Yeah, super clutch plays coming out on the side of XD. I'm kind of a little bit regretful of myself to say Jokes was not the main factor, because I think if he stole Ravage there, maybe Not Today comes on top of that fight. But either way, it looked kind of dire for them in that situation.
Looks like he will steal Anchor Smash here as he goes in, looking for the Global Silence. Doesn't get it off. Does get Arcane Curse though, but a second set of racks should go down. At the very least, the melee racks will fall. Not today. Don't really have much to defend this. A Gush will fly through, connects in the 2, but the last racks, or the second to last racks, has dropped. And Not Today, 40 minutes in, are staring down the barrel of a nearly unstoppable gun as it comes in, destroys their base, and then leaves for the Roshan.
Lucky damage, or double damage rune for the Juggernaut, and they move into Roshan. Jug seems to be going for a Butterfly next, and I think this push will be the tap out for Monte today. Oh, and the cheese. We put the Aegis on the silencer and the cheese on Jug. So, Not Today have their work cut out for them. I'm not sure how they execute this fight. Try to secure the win. Any ideas? Maybe like a Great Chrono into Sandy's Eclipse?
Well, we've seen Great Chronos into Sandy's Eclipses, and they haven't quite been enough. Honestly, I think their target's now turning out to be the Tide Hunter. They got to bring him down first instead of Oizen, which is who their primary target was the last time around. You get those double Ravages unable to come through, and then maybe you win the team fight, but you still got to deal with Devo too. It's a tough one. I really think it's a tough one for them.
There's 12 seconds of Global Silence. There's a refresher word up on XD.
Oh boy.
He's BKB too, so he has his 18 seconds worth of BKB available.
Maybe they bring down XD right here. Now, he does have that Aegis Immortality, so he should be fine. Schofield! Oh man, he's got a buyback. He's going to have to spend it right now. As the Chronosphere comes down onto XD, can they bring him down? Those 2 Global Silences would be huge right now if they can get it off. The bash comes through. He'll get the first Global off. The second will be flying very shortly, but no, he ends up having his Aegis popped. Still double buyback now. Sandy's Eclipse comes out, but Schofield isn't able to do too much damage with it. The second Global Silence will now make its way through. KT, he's ready to unleash. Okay, actually unleashed once. A refresher orb, not enough mana. Still 2 dead, none down on XD Gamers. And this could very well be it. The racks are falling. The Mega Creeps will be spawning very soon. BM by KT as he goes in for the backstroke there. And the last racks has gone down, pretty much securing the game as GG gets called. Not today. We'll end up having the series tied. And XD Gamers, well, they'll be taking this one to a Game 3, potentially looking for the upset, the comeback, the payback even for this series. We'll have to see as game number 2 comes to a close. What do you think we're going to be looking for game number 3?
Teamfight execution, teamfight execution. All these games have been decided by teamfight execution, which is a little bit cliche to say and kind of is like, oh yeah, of course every game comes down to teamfight execution, but I think drafts have been relatively even, maybe a little bit favored for Not Today, in my opinion, for this draft, but just the individual play and teamfight performances of team will decide how game 3 goes.
All right, well, folks, this is going to that game number 3 we talked about. So once again, stick around. You're listening to Chicago Ted and Mr. V. We'll be back with game number 3. Don't change that channel.
Attention is left in your wake. Everywhere you see, blinded yet infinitely. The spectrum of our time takes from its shape of a line. Each instance proves to be a moment reaching endlessly. Every step you take, attention is left in your wake. Everywhere you see, blinded yet infinitely. The spectrum of our time takes from its shape of a line. Each instance proves to be a moment reaching endlessly.
that you dig. A tangent is left in your wake. Everywhere you see, blinded yet infinitely. The spectrum of a time breaks from the shape of a line. Each instance proves to me a moment reaching endlessly.
Seconds.
And we are back, guys, for what is the final time tonight. Game number 3 between Not Today and XD Gamers. Of course, there's only one outcome, and it is a 1-1 series. That's all it could be right now. Looking for both teams to pull their A game this one, as it seems each one has had their shares of slip-ups for this past series. And, of course, telling you all about it is my wonderful co-caster, Mr. V. How you doing, man?
I'm doing well, thank you. Instant switch up in the drafting phase now, so I'm excited to move into this game. You feeling? Got a good break? Ready to go?
Yeah, and it's Batrider Venge versus Beastmaster. I mean, I love Oh. That's an Oracle pickup. And, you know, for heroes that make Batrider's life hell, Oracle's got to be one of them. Of course, Beastmaster as well. Plenty of lockdown between the two of these guys, but they are looking to muscle down XD Gamers' lineup. If I know Beastmaster, and I like to think I do, this is one hell of an offlaner that's so damn hard to zone out and to stop from controlling your lane and destroying your carries. So, Not Today, they've got a pretty powerful lineup so far and some really powerful lanes. Meanwhile, XD Gamers, Venge offers a lot, but Batrider is known for his weaker than average laning stage.
Yeah, I think I talked a little bit last game about how picking Batrider and Venge together kind of protects the Bat lasso, but the Oracle pickup here is just absolutely devastating for the Batrider. You can purge off the sticky napalm, you can ult to remove the flaming lasso. Like, just so much counterplay from the Oracle. I think if you're playing Bat or DS, you really have to ban out the Oracle because it's just such a hard counter for the Batrider.
Dyer's ban.
Yeah, it's just almost sad. It's kind of like one of those, it's like Oracle and Darkseer too, where it like fundamentally destroys the hero. And you hate to see it, but there's another hero that I'm thinking of that also does this kind of, does that bowl. It might be like a Batten or something, but whatever the case, it's really difficult to deal with, and of course, Batrider gonna struggle a little bit to find those lassos. But if he does get them, they can really make or break this lineup for XD Gamers, and we'll have to see what they go for next, as the Juggernaut's gonna get banned out. Likewise, Witch Doctor taken out of the field. First time that he hasn't been picked up in the first pick stage, actually.
Yeah, no purple man today, sadly. He did really well, I think, both games. He was a big impactor of both games. I like the gyro band coming out from the side of Not Today. Having the Batrider lasso into cooldown is just really strong team fight initiation. It kind of creates like this division in the team fight where your team is afraid to go and back up the lasso target. But I like to see that band coming out. I'm interested to see in how XD kind of moves their draft forward. Do they want to go for a more pickup heavy lineup? Do they want to try to push again? Pushing kind of worked for them last game, so a lot to be said in these next two picks.
Indeed. I almost kind of want to see some real late game, like a Spectre, pick up this game. I think it would suit pretty well for Not Today's lineup, because they've got so much protection for the early game that it's almost impossible for the Spectre not to get at least somewhat a decent amount of farm. And likewise, Spectre doesn't actually worry that much about how she does the laning stage either. So Beastmaster, if she's has to go up against him in his lane, I don't think she cares all that much. As long as she can fundamentally find some experience and some basic farm, she'll be good. But for right now, either team can opt to go for that pickup, but we'll have to see where they decide to go as far as cores go. And XD Gamers will start this one out with a Zeus. Almost makes me wonder if they are going to go for that global strat.
They could go for it. Zeus is a little bit of a interesting pickup again into the Oracle. It's pretty good for providing vision and kind of counterplays the Hawk a little bit, but Fate's Edict, if you get it down before Zeus is able to use his combo, it's pretty devastating for the Zeus. Oracle can just like kind of TP into any lane and cast the Fate's Edict onto his teammate and prevent that global ult from really coming into play as well. But we just see Not Today kind of protecting their picks and protecting their strat a little bit by picking up the line here, and you called it. Spectre on the side of XD.
Oh man, this makes me worry a little bit for Not Today. Spectre's just so damn strong right now. It's one of those heroes that you can pick up and just win because, well, it's a Spectre. All she's got to do right now is go, I think the build is earn PMS Akala. That's all you got to do, and you just dominate from 15 minutes onward. You get that ultimate up and running, you're part of every single kill. With the global Zeus ultimate coming through, there's also a lot of potential for finding those pickoffs. Speaking of which, Batrider is the king of them. So yeah. I think they are going to be able to find Spectre some kills, if not some assists, to get her towards after what she decides to go for. If it's the Manta Diffusal Blade or the Radiance build, or both. Why not both? It's going to be powerful. But Slark gets picked up. And the thing about Slark is it's kind of a love-hate relationship with Spectre. He either does fantastic against Spectre, gets a lot of early farm, can put some pressure on her, and just out-carry her for the 20 to 35 minute mark. Or Slark gets pressured in lane, kind of becomes a non-issue as Spectre's damage is a little bit too much for him and a little bit too tanky as well.
Yeah, the Slark is definitely an interesting pickup. There is a lot of bursts coming out from the Zeus, so Slark has to be careful, and hiding in fog is a hard thing to do against the Zeus, who can just lightning bolt and kill you if you're low. Slark really kind of benefits from these long, drawn-out team fights, which Oracle really helps do. If Slark's ever in trouble, he can pop his ult and kind of secure Slark that healing. And Oracle's ult actually really pairs well with the Shadow Dance, because if Slark is in trouble and he pops his ult and Oracle ults him, he'll essentially regen to full and be able to come right back in and at it.
So where do you think we're going to be going for the mid lane for Not Today? I mean, obviously they've got their off, two supports, their Slark for their carry. As far as mid goes, they're going to be probably going up against that Zeus. So we're looking at heroes that can do very well against this guy, and most heroes come to mind. If they want to run some early game, they can go for the Viper, or they can go Razor, or anything along those lines can end up working out for them.
Yeah, I think the Viper pick is kind of the most like what makes sense or what is the safe pick. They may go for something like Alina to try to burst down the Spectre or burst down the Zeus, and they have that protection with the Oracle, but it leaves them a little bit flimsy. I'm not sure if they could go kind of something along the same lines as Viper as like a DK mid. I just think it's more likely they'll go for a little bit more burst, like Alina, maybe a Wind Ranger, but I kind of doubt the Wind.
I could see the Lena coming out. I mean, put some early pressure on the Spectre, offers a bit of stun for the Bat Rider, also some burst to bring him down or the Zeus down if need be. So, Alina could definitely come through here, and I really think it might be a solid pickup. For XD Gamers, though, I'm a little hesitant to say what I want them to grab here. Really, I think they could go for something like an Ogre, and it would work out just fine for them. Just someone who can sit up in front of the fight and take some punishment so that the rest of their guys don't have to. I mean, none of their guys are really that tanky right now, so they're just going to be beat down if push comes to shove. And I don't know, we got about 12 seconds left on their reserve time. They've got to make a decision pretty soon.
Yeah, I'm also looking at maybe like some silences or some initiation, like a Sand King. Sand King's, I think, a safe pick for them, because I think they aren't going to be contested too heavily with the Beastmaster offlane. Like, he does really well at like staying alive, but I think the Vengeance Spectre will be okay against him, and freeing up their jungle for a Sand King can really have a big impact, especially since the AoE damage of Epicenter and the Burrow Strike really offers a lot against the Slark.
Oh yeah. No, it's going to be fantastic against the Slark. Keep him in place, keep him locked down, even when he is in the Shadow Dance. You can just keep the lockdown present, keep the damage flowing, and look to just try to bring him down. Because, I mean, typically he'll drop into Shadow Dance when he's low. If you've got some burst damage that doesn't care if you can't see him, then you just bring him down even when he's in that Shadow Dance. And level 1, the regen's not that great, so you should be able to get the damage off and get the kill. Not today, though. We're still looking at what they're going to pick up, and we went through their options. We went through a couple of pretty good options to us. The Sand King may be throwing a stick in the spokes a little bit, as he offers a little bit more than what I guess was anticipated, but not today. Can still go about a couple different avenues here. 10 seconds again. We're dipping pretty long into this very long draft. A lot of thought going into it. Both teams are looking to edge their way into the grand finals. Neither wants to get eliminated, and it is going to be that Lena pick that we mentioned.
Yeah, I was going to say, if they do go Lena, they'll probably need to consider getting an early Yules or maybe even something like a BKB on her to try to protect her against the Zeus and Sand King. She's really, really squishy. Having a BKB would help, but I don't think she does enough if she goes straight BKB. I think she needs to go like Yules into eggs, maybe an Aether along the way, and then get the BKB before she considers going for a Blink, but depends on how the team goes and how the Vision Wars go. I think Vision's going to be huge because we have a Beastmaster, we have a Zeus, and we have a Sand King. Sand King needs to ensure that he's like not scouted out as he goes to ulti. Zeus counterplays the Beastmaster Hawk, and Beastmaster looks to give his teammate that vision advantage. And Slark, of course, also helps with scouting out the woods.
Alright, so taking a look, one final look at the draft before we get in. I've been 1 for 2 so far, so I'm going to call out right now. I really like Not Today's draft right now. I think they have plenty of tools for dealing with XD gamers, so for the third time, I am going to put my eggs in Not Today's basket. This one a little bit closer, though. Maybe a 60-40 split favoring Not Today.
Are you sure you're just not a Not Today fanboy or something?
No, I really liked their drafts today. 100%. Yeah. Like, I thought they were pretty solid on all fronts. And even though I am a huge fan of the Spectre pickup, again, I just think that Not Today have a good amount of ways to deal with it.
Yeah, I'm definitely with you on this one. I think Not Today they're going to take this one. I think Oracle is just going to be too much for the side of XC to handle. He just offers so much in terms of counterplay, from the Fortune's End to the Fate's Edict, blocking Zeus's spells. Yeah, I think if Oracle has a good game, it's easy game for not today, but we'll see.
Yep. We'll see. The famous words of Dota right now, as it seems not today, are sticking up for the top rune. It seemed KT wanted to have a say in what was going on, but instead will make his way in and get a wow. That is one hell of a D ward that he just got off right there. So his lane will be pretty nice. I mean, no vision of him. He can freely kind of move about, whereas the Radiant, they get themselves the bottom rune, and we'll just play along with that. There is a sentry ward on the foot save, but I don't think he's going to pull off the same D ward as KT just did.
Yeah, that's the Boots advantage kind of coming into play there. He runs out to lane really quickly, gets that early observer down, and sees the Jerry come through and place that ward. It may have been the line that placed ward, but I think it was Jerry. And he just saw Jerry walk in and then walk out.
Yep, so KT is going to make a pretty aggressive move here at the top with the Firefly, but both supports are coming around from behind. There is going to be a Fortune's End flying out to him. They'll hit him with the lasso, and of course Firefly will be ending very soon. Can he get to the wrong side? Yes, he gets to the wrong side. I guess I shouldn't be as excited for him about this, as Schofield will get the kill. I sounded way too excited for the Batrider when I probably should have been on the other side of the boat, but he definitely should have been on the other side of the boat, as he was taken aback and right into his own death.
Yeah, man, that Oracle play. The Oracle is just such a hard counter to Batrider.
And Beastmaster, in a similar note on the bottom lane, will also go down. Of course, he's dropping his boar as well. Both offlaners are having a rough time, and Beastmaster, you know, I typically think of as being a lot better off, but wow, this is pretty important. Meanwhile, Ben has in a lot of trouble in the mid lane. Fairy Fire comes out. That will save his life, and he has to pop himself a salve to survive through and be able to sustain in the lane, but man, that was very close.
Yeah, that was just not quite the difference in between of like one auto attack's damage, but it was like the difference between one or two more spells.
And
he's been playing super aggressively this Lena. He's been sitting on the high ground, denying Zeus's XP. He's level 4 already, but Zeus is still 1 or 2 creeps left before he hits his level 4.
And very important, Zeus also has a free bottle, as Oizen has TP'd into the mid lane, so now he's going to be able to bottle Crow, but this time he at full HP. Very important for this Zeus to have HP and mana up against Ben Has, who cancels the clarity but is not too worried about what's to follow. As still 1-1. I thought this would be a little bit more aggressive as both offlaners dying, but it seems we've had the Batrider make his way into the jungle. Of course, we saw Sand King get brought down by some creeps, but this should help Bat gets at least some experience out of this game, whereas he probably would have gotten nothing up on the top. And Beastmaster, in a similar note, has gone back to try to control his own jungle, but Oizen is there and ready to make his life a living hell.
Yeah, he's just sapping XP. Oh, one-shots the bird with the caustic.
Well, the bird is a pretty much a one-shot for all heroes at nearly every point in the game, so I'm not really surprised. As Ben Has in the mid, he'll bring down Zeus, but they've got some return. They want to try to follow up and get a return kill. Turn around for the Light Strike Array, but it does miss. That turn rate is abysmal. So he goes down in a fiery chasm of fire. As 2-2 now. Both mid laners have been brought down. Both off laners have been brought down. Now we just got to see both supports and both carries get killed.
He bought 2 sets of boots, and he bought them before he died, so he can't sell them now. So he just lost out on half the cost of boots. Just lost out on 200 gold for Lena.
Yeah, that's incredibly important now that you mention it. Wow. And that gold is going to be very, very important coming into the next couple of minutes of the game. I mean, we look at advantages being made by slivers of gold and experience here in the mid, so getting that little bit of advantage, even though he did get the kill, which I guess helps out mediate that a little bit, still Ben has got to be reeling about that one. He's got supports rotating in with a smoke, though, which could facilitate this second mid lane kill and some much needed experience for the supports who've had a pretty quiet lane. They'll find Oizen. Looks like he'll get a double stun. A lot of failure to react here as Jokes now comes in. they've got the Fortune's End out onto Oizen. He doesn't have another Burrow Strike for 3 seconds, but there isn't really that much follow-up that they can continue with, so nothing will really come of this aggressive play here in the mid.
Who do you think's getting more out of their safe lane? The Slark or the Spectre? I think Slark's getting a little bit more. He's had opportunity to kind of pressure the tower, and now they may get a kill on Gosen here.
Slark's getting a lot more as... actually, they don't purge off. Do they purge off the Purifying Flames? Yeah, they did. Okay. As Anti-Oizen actually put another one on him, but they are able to get the kill through the heal. Almost pretty bad, but I think... Do they have another Fortune's End? They did not, but they had another Purifying Flames. They need to nuke him again. So, right now, XD Gamers will lose their Sand King again. And as you were saying, I think Schofield does get a lot more out of this one. He's been getting pretty much solo experience as the supports have been rotating. And he is very, very far ahead on farm. 32 last hits to the... Okay, that's not very far ahead, but 32 to the 28 of Devo. Of course, Devo is about a half a level's worth of experience behind him as well. Going for the Boars. We'll get both of them with his last hits, though.
Yeah, I think Bat Rider's kind of transitioned now into this jungle phase, which he'll be a lot more effective in the jungle than the Beastmaster role. So Beastmaster kind of has to stay in lane and put his life at risk here, getting XP, while the Venge kind of sneaks around on the side, looking for maybe a cheeky stun or something. But this Bat is kind of free to roam the jungle, and he's contesting a little bit the Sand King, who can't now stack up his own farm, so it's a little bit of counter synergy, but they definitely need this Bat to go online. He's doing alright for his blink time. He's already got 1,000 gold in the bank.
Yeah, that's important. The blink timing, pre-10 minutes blink would be absolutely ideal for him right now, and if he's able to secure that up, we're looking at a couple really good ganks, as the Urn of Shadows is now completed for the Spectre. Oizen's going to make his way around the bend as Zeus TP's in. They go in for the stun, and now Devo's there. They turn around for the Earth Spike, but that Earth Spike's going to be a whiff, and so Benhaz will go down. Wow, that is a very, very important kill. However, the Urn of Shadows was not out onto Devo just yet, so he's not able to get the Urn charges from it, but still, he was part of that kill. Very important.
Yeah, I think if the line maybe have landed the stun there, then the Sand King wouldn't have gone off the right last kick. But I think Zeus had another Arc Lightning ready to go, so I don't think it mattered too much either way, but you never know. Those links can add up.
Yeah, so where do you think Benhaz goes from here? He's dropped twice after getting that solo kill in the mid lane. He's not really where he wants to be. His item timings might be a little off. What items do you think he's got to go for, and how soon do you think he's going to get them?
He's going Yules. We see the Sapphire Wizard tree coming out, and he's not going for Atos, most likely. Yeah. But he'll just he'll go for the Yules either way. I don't think you really have many options as Lena. I definitely spammed her a little bit too much in the previous patch before she got nerfed and the Yules nerf came into play. The Yules is so poor on this year for getting that guaranteed light strike for race stun, and it's also good counter initiation for the Bat Rider if you can Yules the Bat if he goes in for that initiation.
And speaking of initiation, Devo's going to go out onto the Beastmaster on bottom. They get the magic missile out, but the turnaround just in time for the TP to come through now on the tier 1 as well. Footsay's waiting in, almost on top of the teleport as Jokes turns around, gets the Hex off onto him. Earth Spike, they should have this kill. They do have this kill. Schofield rotates down to get it. A very deep dive for for XD Gamers to come up fruitless. And now Devo might be pressured a little bit here on the bottom, as he's got coming out to him. It looks like the Aquila completed. Schofield looking to cancel out by killing the courier, but instead might find Devo. This is a very important invis rune for him to have. And he'll initiate on. They gets the lasso up. Do they have the Earth Spike? They do. And plenty of follow-up damage. The slows from the Boars as well. That is a very important kill to get onto Devo. Now Schofield, he wants a little bit more. Has a Shadow Dance. Looking for the leap. Can he find it through the trees? He's got to be very careful about his positioning on this one. Ends up coming out with a Dark Pact, but won't go for the leap as Footsy is going for a bit of a juke action. A Thunder God's Wrath will come through and bring down Benhaz, as Footsay finds Jokes somehow underneath his own tier 1 tower. And of course, not today. They'll drop 2. But they do get Devo, so that is very important.
I think losing your mid lane is sufficiently problematic.
Jerry on the
Spectre
top,
ulti
he could be in a
for-
huge amount of trouble here. Yep, he is dead. Jokes comes in, looks for a return kill, but Devo's there with the Urn of Shadows, taking him away as well as the Firefly. And they bring down the Lion as well. That rotation coming in to try to protect ended up doing more harm than good. And Devo right back where he started.
They're falling apart a little bit here. They need to kind of regroup, reconnect as a team, and focus on their objectives right now. On the side of Not Today, they're just getting picked off too much. They know that the Spectre's down and that she'll be looking for a gank when she responds. And that line TP could have been cancelled as well. So I think they just need to take a breath, calm down a little bit, and then go at it again.
Yep, it's coming down more to the fact that, you know, it's a Spectre. Once you let her get level 6 and that Urn of Shadows is completed, she is going to be looking to gank at every possible moment her ulti's down, and you can't be alone at that point because you come in, a 2v1 Devo KT can easily bring down the majority of the heroes of Not Today solo. Even in a duo situation, it's kind of troublesome to have to deal with that. So Not Today either need to stick together or just simply play it a lot safer. They know they've got a very aggressive team that can find kills given the right timing windows and the right initiations, but they can't let themselves get picked off. As you said, now a blink from KT won't be the pick-off for Jokes, once again giving a kill to Devo. And he's got all of his core items up right now. For the next 10 to 15 minutes, he can either, once again, go for that Manta Diffusal, go for that Radiance. It doesn't really matter. The world is his oyster right now.
Yeah, they're going on Scoia'tael bottom. I think they may be able to catch him here if they can their burrow. No, he's too fast. He's out.
Maybe. It looks like Oizen's able to catch up. The Dark Pact will keep him from being stunned. They go in for the Shadow Dagger, but it's not going to be enough. As now the turnaround. Looks like Schofield, he's got another leap up. Oizen will turn for the Burrow Strike, but Jones comes in with the Earth Spike and is actually not able to get it off. Footsie will go down though. Schofield leaps to the low ground to try to find more as Beastmaster coming in with the Primal Roar onto Devo. Has got some damage to deal with this Spectre, but they come in with a Purifying Flames that's going to help him stay alive as now in comes Zeus, dealing a lot of damage the other way around. Devo will of course get the kill. KT finding Schofield in the back lines. And we said Not Today was falling apart. That just solidifies it. 12-6 right now at 12 minutes. And XD Gamers are putting on a clinic.
Yeah, they're doing so well right now. And Spectre has got her next item coming out to her. Is she going for the treads? Yeah.
Yeah, it's a pretty good pickup. I mean, typically you see the phase boots on a Spectre, but I don't think she's worried about her move speed right now. There's plenty of stuns, plenty of lockdown ways for XD Gamers to get their Spectre in close, like this. Like, you didn't even need the phase boost there. All KT needed to do, blink forward, get the lasso, and they were good. So go for the extra tankiness, the extra attack speed, and let that be it. You'll set her up onto KT as Ben has going in for the Light Strike Array behind the lines on the Footsie. They'll bring Footsie down. Devo, Purifying Flames will help him out a little bit. As it's coming from the other side too, so interesting enough. The False Promise will fly through though. Schofield's looking for this kill, has got the Dark Pact looking for the leap, but is 1 second down. Won't get it onto the low ground. Another Purifying Flames though is out into Devo. The Light Strike Array won't connect. And finally, it looks like a False Promise attempt. No, another Purifying Flames. Devo's just healing everything up. Schofield goes in for the leap but can't find it. Oh boy, Not Today. A couple of huge mistakes right there. Ended up culminating into a very, very poor team fight. Though, Beastmaster wants something. He goes in for Oizen, but the turnaround from the Burrow Strike, and now the Epicenter doesn't even connect on one leap, but I think the Beastmaster is still dead. Is that a Veil of Discord? It is completed. Footsie, the TP will come through, but they've got the vision. They'll bring down the Beast.
Rip Beastmaster. A really good play by the Sand King to kind of stay there and go for that stun instead of running away right away. He could have just tried to go in full retreat, but I don't think they would have got the kill in that way. Spectre comes out.
Yep, the reality on the top lane. They're looking for Jokes. Turns around, Finger of Death out onto KT, but still alive. Meanwhile, Devo is kind of walking in the middle of a jungle here, but not really that worried, as even though KT's low, he's still very, very tanky. And no Urn of Shadow charges, but I think was counting on the fact that Purifying Flames has been healing him up thus far. He can count some of his tankiness to that.
Yeah, for sure. It's really big that the line doesn't get a kill with that first Finger of Death.
Right.
Usually you see that finger kind of accelerating him into his next item, whether that's the components for an Aether Lens or towards his Blink Dagger, but without that first skill, he's kind of going to be a big range creep running around for a little bit.
XD Gamers, they walk underneath the Observer Ward with the smoke, but still Beastmaster, he turns and walks away. Unfortunately, the lasso comes in, and Beast is down. The whip of his Devo comes through. They've got the Purifying Flames, been taken off by the False Promise, and finally, the Fortune's End, they will bring down Devo. KT getting lassoed up. Schofield will find himself a kill now. So a couple of kills going the way of Not Today, but still the Beastmaster is done. Schofield will go right back to farming, but I think Not Today may want to try to facilitate a push here.
Yeah, they could go for a push. Those kills are huge, considering that KT and Spectre have just been like playing really well. KT has actually been playing well almost every game, but you just see him constantly going for these picks as soon as lasso's off down. They dove a little bit deep there. If the tier 1 tower had been down on the side of Not Today, then I think that dive would have been okay, but it was just a little bit deep for them to go that far.
Yeah, and of course Devo going down is a very important kill there, but he's still 4-2-7 with 1,400 gold. And, you know, considering his build-up, I imagine he will be going for that Myth stop. We'll have to see as the Thunder God's Wrath flies through. And now Devo's looking for some follow-up. There's that global strat coming to fruition. Jokes is pretty much dead right now. He turns around for the Earth Spike, but the Burrow Strike now comes through a little longer. And so, that'll be a nice kill for XD Gamers. But once again, that huge potential of the Reality Haunt to make huge plays in this game.
Yeah, the global strat is really punishing. Both teams have been like diving super deep and getting punished for it. Sometimes it's worth it, sometimes it's not. But both teams are just like, let's fight. We're going into your jungle, whether it's 2 or 3 of them. Both sides have been really focused on just kind of fighting and making space.
So tier 1 mid will fall. Devo and Zeus there. Shadow Strike or the Spectral Dagger up onto the high ground won't connect them to anyone, as it seems both teams will just back off. Devo goes to the top lane to continue farming. And everyone else, you know, doing pretty well. Speaking of farming, Futse is looking alright. He's going to have the Medallion of Courage out fairly soon. Zeus has got the Aether Lens and the Veil of Discord completed, so his items are looking pretty scary. Of course, the Blink Dagger just coming out for the Sand King, and KT with that Blink already completed, now with a 4-staff on the Courier, finished up. Very nice item pickups now, as Schofield, he does have his Shadow Blade, looking pretty good to try to help him find a solo pick, but there really isn't anyone easily solo pickable with this global strategy out. Jerry, pretty poor. Jokes, also pretty poor. And of course, Ben has with the Aether Lens and the Yule Scepter. Think we're going to be seeing an Aghanim pick up from him next?
I think so. It adds a lot to their team. What else would he go for, do you think?
I honestly, you know, many items don't really seem to be the play here. He could go for the right-click build and maybe grab something like an AC and some sort of crits, or a Shiva, a Scotty, or something like that. But honestly, either Aghanim Scepter or Hex Scythe of Vice could be the item that he goes for here. It's really tough for him, because I think the Aghanim Scepter is a necessity to try to be able to burst down that Spectre in the next fight, but she's getting way too tanky for him to deal with. And speaking of tanky, Devo, 2,400 gold. I guess he will be saving up for what seems to be the Radiance.
Yeah. I definitely think Lena also needs some more survivability, and so the eggs offer her a lot in terms of stats.
Yeah.
And just kind of the raw HP and mana that she gets from it. So.
Oh, Schofield. He's got the Dark Pact, and it looks like the lasso maybe a little early. I think he saw the channel for it, but whatever the case, Devo now is up there, looking to try to fight. They've got the false promise out onto Schofield, but he's taking a lot of damage. He does end up taken down to it. The Oracle also will be going down. Once again, XD Gamers just slowly but surely bringing down Not Today. And of course, Devo and the rest of them are up there. 3,400 gold on the Spectre now after that fight. I struggle to find a way where Not Today can deal with this Radiance.
I don't think they can. Like, Beastmaster's building Necro, but he's had 4 deaths this game. Yet to kill an enemy himself. He's been involved in 4 assists, but he's just been kind of farming away and working at this game. Not really, like I think I've seen 1 or 2 wars, but it's a really hard game for him, especially with this global strat and the Zeus countering his vision. So
Yep.
he needs to get active.
Yeah, I want to say that goes back to his lane, too. I mean, they got a couple kills, and Beastmaster needs to control the lane to be effective in the later parts of the game. Looks like he will find a kill, maybe a bit of a kill steal there, as Schofield sets up that nice little kill, but Beastmaster still had a very weak lane there, and that's kind of translating into a weaker game. He needs these Necro 3s up as soon as possible, maybe a blink for initiation or some drums or something to help his team out a little bit more, but I'm not quite sure. I'm a huge fan of the max out with the Whirling Axes build. I prefer the Inner Vitality a little bit more because of how much it gives to your team, but it doesn't seem like there's anyone really to buff up. Schofield doesn't exactly need it, and the rest of them aren't really right-clickers. As Oizen up, bottom lane, they go in with Laguna Blade, but they can't seem to finish him off, and Benhaz will pay for a super aggressive play. And under the tier 2 tower, nonetheless, that seemed to be a huge misplay for him.
Yeah, that's like the play you make or the play you break. You go Blink Dagger and you expect to get a big kill. Maybe like prevent the Sand King from getting closer to his eggs or something, but Lina just ends up feeding another kill, and she's highest level right now. She's been doing a really good job farming, and you kind of see that in the kill score. In how XC has such a kill league, it's because they've been fighting a lot of times with 5 or 4 heroes into 2, because Lina's been on the other side of the map farming. And same thing with the Beastmaster, he's just kind of been farming away and kind of minimizing casualties, is kind of avoiding the team's fights. But Spectre is got her Radiance? Yeah, she's got her Radiance now.
Yep.
And so they don't really have a choice in terms of team fighting now, because they'll all just essentially die to the damage output of the Spectre.
And 23 seconds is the timer on this bomb right now for the Thunder God's Wrath to come through, because once those 2 spells are up, I imagine they're just going to go straight in for a kill. Try to find someone. Maybe they even go in with the Blink Lasso, actually setting up. 10 seconds left before it looks like they want to try to find a kill. And KT, he's going in aggressive, shows that he's alone, but I don't think this is the play for Not Today to try to contest. They all go in for this one. Finds the lasso out, and comes Devo, but the false promise will stop the lasso. It doesn't even matter. The epicenter comes through and brings down both supports. And finally, Beastmaster will end up taking a fall there, as KT will back off. A much-needed rest in the fountain for him, as Not Today drop 3 and risk losing their top tier 2 tower.
The big thing there was that Not Today actually decided to take that fight. We saw the bat with their Zerber ward and was like, okay, we probably are going to expect the Zeus ult Inspector Hunt. Meanwhile, Lina in the bottom lane closes up the Batrider as she makes her escape.
Oh man, Schofield, he misses the first attack out of the Shadow Blade because of that Radiance, and of course also misses the follow-up lasso. This is trouble. They're going in for Devo, though. They need this kill, but out of mana, he cannot cast his Laguna Blade. Needs quite a bit more, actually. They get the lasso, though. They'll bring him down with a finger of death. The poor man's Laguna Blade, it seems, as that is a very nice kill for them to get on Devo, and that opens up quite a bit of the map for Not Today to try to push, as with that Radiance down, that gives them a lot more teamfight control.
Yeah, for sure. You see Slark with his items saying, you know, we're either going to win or lose the game in the next, like, 5-10 minutes with this Sanch and Yasha pickup. He's saying, I don't have time to finish Scotty. BKB is too defensive. We need to get kills, and we need to do it now, type thing.
I gotta agree with that sentiment. He can go in. I think Futse is going to be his target here, but no, it's TPing out. He ends up still revealing to him, which is going to mean that KT backs away almost immediately. The Courier also getting well off and alive.
Top lane.
Yep, meanwhile top, oh, they'll find a kill onto the Beastmaster once again. Zeus will grab that one, and that is a couple of Necronomicons also going down. 400 gold, easy peasy to Oizen, who might see a little bit of trouble coming the way from @jokes, but nope, seems he's going to be all right. So not today, once again losing some and giving away a lot of gold from that too.
Mm-hmm. You can see that Linus decided to go for the boots of travel here. I think she recognizes that she also needs to keep farming, but she also needs to start becoming more and more involved in these team fights.
Schofield in the bottom is in huge trouble. Will pop into the Shadow Dance. It's going to be a Yule Scepter, though, defensively from Benhaz. Blink away as well. There was an Urn of Shadows, a negative urn that went on to him, but he was able to blink right before that earned its first tick of damage. Very important that he does that, too, because if he was not able to blink out there, he would have been as good as dead. So not today will preserve a couple of their lives, but it still seems that XD Gamers are in full potential to just kind of straight bring them down. Another blink back, but this one's kind of awkward. Schofield makes his way in, going in for Zeus. This should be an easy kill for him. The Laguna Blade comes out and helps out, bursts down that last bit of HP. The Haunt will fly. No, it seemed like I heard it, but he is on cooldown right now. Epicenter out, but Beastmaster still alive. Will throw out the Primal Roar, but has a Fate's Edict onto him. Can't take magic damage. He'll still survive, finally getting brought down, as it's now a 2 for 3. KT will find Schofield in the back lines. A much-needed kill. Oizen could be in a bit of trouble, though. Benhaz trying to bring him down. He'll try to deny the creeps, but it's not going to be enough damage. The Purifying Flames helping him out too much. And the Light Strike Array, well, that will secure the kill for them. So it's a 2 for 4. Not today. I did not expect them to get that much off that.
That was just some phenomenal play by them. Slark barely stayed alive with the false promise coming out from Oracle. He healed up, but it was really funny. The false promise popped, and he had like one hit away from dying. Meanwhile, Lane at the top lane using those boots help to go in onto KT and secures the kill. And that's the gem. Did they see it? Did they see the gem?
I don't know. Maybe Jones sees it, but they won't go for it, actually, as Zeus will come through and bring down Benhaz almost immediately. And of course, XD Gamers know that that gem is on the ground. As they go in, they'll find it, they'll pick it up. Very unfortunate that they not only didn't get the gem, but they also kept trying to go in for this bottom lane and got brought down from overextension.
That would have been huge if they just killed the bat, grabbed the gem, and got out there.
Yeah.
I would say like they would have been like back in the game almost type thing, but that just those two kills and not getting the gem there is actually quite impactful, because now they're going to lose a lot more map control, and that gem was like just purchased, so they're going to lose on their vision, they're going to lose their gank potential, they'll never know if they're going to be ganking into one heroes or their entire team, so they have to be definitely careful in picking their fights wisely, and probably getting a little bit lucky too in their engagements. On side and not today.
And Sark will now be going for that BKB, which will help so much with the Radiance burn. As you said, it is a little bit defensive, but now that he's got the Sanj and Yasha out, it helps out, kind of make it more worth it to grab the BKB now. So that is going to be not soon enough coming out for Schofield, as they need to try to win some more engagements and do what they did in that last fight. 2 for 4s, 1 for 4s, even wipes on XD Gamers would be huge for them at this point. The follow-up from the previous success would almost, if not bring them back in the game, put them in a commanding position. But he's got to find these pickoffs and then get out, or at the very least, not give away the advantage they just got. And that's going to be kind of difficult for this Lina, as once she uses all of her powers to initiate, she doesn't really have that much to escape then back out. So right now, XD Gamers, they're sitting at the 28th and the 17th of not today, but not today have a little bit of momentum from the last big team fight.
Yeah, for sure. I'm wondering if the Sark will, instead of going BKB, opt for the Silver Edge. I think BKB is just like way too good to pass up. But if he feels like he doesn't have time to complete the BKB, he may just go for the Silver Edge to counter out the Desolate and Dispersion.
Well, there are pros and cons to both of them, because if you get to the the Silver Edge, he can take away the Dispersion, which, as you said, is one of the biggest spells for Spectre to have for the early and mid game. But if you go BKB, you can also avoid missing out half the time and, you know, taking a lot of the damage that XD gamers have to offer. I mean, most of their damage is magical right now, aside from the obvious Devo right-click. So the BKB would help him out for the mid-game surviving, but the Silver Edge would help him out to even try to kill Devo in a short amount of time.
Yeah, I definitely think the BKB is a better item.
Yeah.
I'm just... It's another item slot that he has to give up, so maybe like his bottle, which isn't too concerning, but yeah.
Or even probably can risk giving up the magic wand right now.
Yeah.
Radiant's top tower.
You could do that too. The question is whether or not he'll be able to afford it, and whether or not he wants to give up his buyback or not.
Yeah. As there is going to be a lasso now, and Beastmaster, well, that's a straight death. So too will Jones go down as Devo comes in. The Urn and the Radiance will be enough to get this Lion kill. And that's the power of the global strat. You find your primary target, and then you look around the map for anyone that might be low enough to become your unfortunate secondary target. As not today, it seems they're looking a little bit too hard for a fight here. I'm not quite sure they can make one happen. They will go to KT. They find this kill. Now Schofield, he's underneath an Observer or a Sentry Ward or some sort of vision. Yeah, there was a Sentry Ward there. So he'll get up to the high ground, but they are able to cancel his TP with a bolt. Schofield, of course, does end up dropping, and will drop a gem, too, that they just got off the Bat Rider. So that gem is playing hot potato right now.
It's like a Divine Rapier.
Yeah. I wouldn't say it's as impactful as a Divine Rapier, but it's pretty damn good.
In this game, probably... Like, who would have the Divine that would make a difference? Like, the Slark, maybe?
Yeah, oh yeah, definitely the Slark. Slark or even Lena having a Divine Rapier would be pretty good.
Yeah. I don't think we're quite in that territory yet. One of the things from that last fight is that Jerry on the Oracle almost died just to the, like, Spectre ult and Zeus ult without her even hunting him.
Well, yeah. And that's the problem with having these very squishy supports. I mean, Lion and Oracle aren't exactly known for their high HP pools. And that's where the Thunder God's Wrath and the Radiance Burn, as well as the Desolate, and not Diffusal yet, but we could probably see that coming up pretty soon. That's when these things start getting a little bit too hard to deal with, as it looks like Not Today are trying to sneak out of Roshan. And with Thunder God's Wrath off cooldown, they might be able to scout it out, but Haunt is still 10 seconds. Looks like maybe they've got enough time to go for this, actually. 4, 3, they're going to try.
No, I don't think they know. They smoked in. So this is pretty big for Not Today. Stark, I think, was expecting to get the Aegis there. But he is going BKB. You can see that with the Mithril Hammer now. So,
I think it's much better that Lena gets the Aegis. I mean, Slark has plenty of ways to escape. Lena, well, they focus her, she's dead. So, Schofield, actually, speaking of focus and dead, KT is waiting. The Dark Pact is down. This is his option. And he'll go right in, recognizing Schofield. Well, he's pretty much dead.
I think the Zeus ult hit him while he was still under the effect of Shadow Dance.
I don't think so. It was the Firefly that ultimately killed him.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't think the Zeus only hits units he can see, right? If they're invis, it just reveals them.
Yeah.
Whatever the case, he still dies. It's not like it makes a big impact. Maybe he didn't have to use the Thunder God's Wrath there. In fact, most certainly didn't have to use it there, but it's still some pretty good security. Also, opening up the option for Devo to maybe try to find a last-second haunt or reality to find a low support.
Yeah, it was the Firefly that killed him. I checked the combat log. But yeah, big pickup. It definitely, like, it's huge that they get that pickup as soon as the Aegis goes on the side of Not Today. Because they can't push anymore. Like, Not Today's looking for the pickoffs, right? They want to get a pickoff with the Aegis and then go get an objective, right? Because Spectre's on, like, a timer. She's going to get her heart. She's going to be, like, too much to handle even with the Laguna eggs, right? So they need to close out the game here, because I don't think Clark's going to have necessarily the items to fight up against the Spectre. Yeah,
I mean, Devo is holding on to 3,800 gold right now. It's it's not like he's starving or he's even in a bad spot in any way. He's playing this one really well. He is sitting rich as all hell and nearly impossible to bring down as is, of course. Speaking of bringing him down, he can't bring himself down from a cliff. But it's looking scary for Not Today, even without that Heart of Tereskin. With it, well, I struggle to find a way that they even think about trying to close out this game, as the Reaver will come through, has enough, about 600 gold away from the completed heart. It's looking pretty gruesome for Not Today right now, as their carries just don't have enough to outcarry a Spectre. Nonetheless, try to deal with the rest of the roster that XD Gamers have.
Yeah, and I think Dispersion really comes into play here, because that damage AoE around the Spectre is huge against the already squishy supports inside of Not Today.
Schofield's hunting, but who does he find? He'll find Oizen and go in, but the leap will miss. Still, the stun gets immediately taken off by Darkpack. Footsage should go down pretty soon here, but that's not quite enough to win them the fight, as the Aegis does get popped. Schofield and the BKB will now turn around onto Oizen, but can't see him anymore. Goes into his Shadow Dance, but taking so much damage. The False Promise will also come through, and he's looking pretty good on his health right now, as all that healing that he got from himself. Well, actually, wow. Interesting, he gets nothing from it. Devo will find a kill onto Jerry, though, and might be able to look for some more, as Slark, well, he heals right back up to full. Still, a lost fight for Not Today, and maybe they lose more. No, it looks like Ben Haz will get away. But that was pretty bad for Not Today to not be able to get more than just Footsie there.
Yeah, it was definitely a kind of a desperation smoke, and now the Spectre has heart. It's like, it'll be even harder for them to get a fight. I don't know how they approach team fights. Do they get a pick off or something as they go on the Lina? Bale comes down, Zeus with the bolt.
Yep, the Yule Scepter up, setting up for everything else to follow. They go in, they anticipate the blink, but it looks like it was in the other direction. Still, Zeus is able to find that kill. And now the entire roster of XD Gamers are on the top lane, and they're going to look to try to bring down this top tier 1 tower and secure the final, or at least the second to last outer tower in the game. Of course, we're looking at a game number 3 here, and XD Gamers are getting dangerously close to knocking Not Today, the last South American team, out of this tournament.
Yeah, Batrider has some spidey sense or something that they're coming, but oh, he bogs.
He will go down here. I don't think he's got any way to survive, but actually it's the gem. Again, the gem will switch hands, and we'll have to see if it has a rapier-like impact, as Schofield will be able to spot out any wards or anything that can hurt him, but ultimately I think maybe he wants to either get rid of it or instead have someone on his team get a dust, because Oizen might not be enough to warrant just holding on to a gem like that. It looks like he'll go after Devo, though. Gets the first attack off, but misses it. Misses the next one. He's stealing a bunch of stats, but not really doing much more than that.
Yeah, I guess it's good for the start to get the Essence shift. It adds some armor to him, gives him a little bit more potential damage later on. And this Invis, he's hunting. He knows he has to make big plays for his team.
Yep, and Oizen might be able to be a decent kill for him, but he's dangerously close to the tier 2 tower, so very smart that he doesn't go for it. Instead, will make his way through the jungle, not seeing anyone that's a potential kill, though, so he'll just go back down and farm out a lane. Same thing for Beastmaster, who has got his Blink Dagger, but they're looking to just bring him down. They've got the Thunder God's Wrath and a Haunt. They bring him down without even reality to him. They'll now go in for Jerry, who false promises himself, but should be dead. Actually, the Glimmer Cape is going to... Okay, no, it's not. Way too much damage coming out from that one.
Yeah, just good patience from side of XC there. They know they have the game in control, and so they just look for kills, take the kills, and then go push. I don't think they'll need to overreact to the push bottom by Schofield and Benjen on the Luna, but yeah, they can just push down middle and run racks. You know.
How do Not Today stop this even? I mean, 2 dead, 1 with buyback, but even that buyback seems to be a little inconsequential for them. Jokes will come through. Your spike will fly, but that's only delaying what seems to be an inevitable tower going down. KT will find a lasso. Schofield can't die, but he does. Has buyback, 75 seconds if he chooses not to. Oh boy, this is looking very grim, but still they persist. Not today. Are on their last legs. You Receptor up. They're looking to try to chain perfectly off this one, but Oizen comes in. Epicenter out. And even though it's a buyback from Schofield, Laguna will fly. TP out or a blink out immediately. And comes out Finger of Death. They're able to bring down Oizen. Devo, he's dropping dangerously low. It looks like he will go down. And Schofield looking for his next target, but the blink away will secure it. And XD Gamers will TP themselves out. Not today, they hold. It's close, but they hold.
Yeah, they barely hold. Musical gems there, going back to the side of XC and then back to the side of AC, but just a really good play by the line to get that last kill on the Sand King. The Sand King's epi was a little bit ineffective as he decided to go on Lena, who had recently purchased her Black King bar. So that 10-second BKB really kept her alive there and enabled her to get out the damage she needed to kind of turn that fight.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, this burst damage is helping so much against Devo. Of course, Finger of Death was the one to bring down Oizen. Lasso back. Ben has in a huge amount of trouble here. 15 seconds before he can pop BKB this time. He'll self-fuels, looks for the blink, immediately gets it to follow up, and the Thunder God's Wrath will be spent without doing too much. Benhaz will survive. And of course, 20 seconds before the Spectre's back, so she can't just haunt in and get this pick. But the push now from Not Today, only finding past the tier 1 tower mid, as they can't go for any more. The rest of XD Gamers are now respawning.
Yeah, with Spectre up, the game kind of changes its tone. So like, okay, make sure we're together, make sure we can deal with the haunt illusions, or I don't think they really can deal with the haunt illusions. Too all left. They have to posture, they have to know that if you're alone and they see an opportunity to kill you, they'll just hunt and kill you right away.
Yep.
So Lena and Stark have to be super careful along with the Beastmasters. They try to push lanes and get in position.
Yeah, and Lena especially 20 seconds before she can just boots of travel out. If she's got the bots, then the only thing that can really stop her is a lasso, given that both ultimates are used globally. So Benhaz just needs to be incredibly careful, and it looks like this is trouble. They come in with the haunt. They can't reality just yet. They'll hit him with a bolt, pretty long-range bolt, but that's Aether Lens for you, as he will blink now into the trees and boots of travel straight on out. Actually blinks south when when XD Gamers thinks he goes north, so they'll continue hunting, but really quickly realize that that Leaner is no longer there.
Yeah, good play by her. Getting a little bit of space and enabling them to push out the lanes a little bit, but her BKB being down is going to be trouble as Sark seems to want to fight. I think they have another gem on the side of XD. Maybe it's on the bat? Yeah.
Well, they'll go in now, in for the Zeus, but the swap back will break the lasso, or the leash at least. Schofield's in with that BKB, surviving throughout the damage. The false promise is out onto Schofield, but Benhaz goes down. He's got a buyback, but he can't, and doesn't really want to spend it. 3 seconds before he can boots the travel in anyway. Schofield will go down, so will the Beastmaster. And even though there are some buybacks, it's looking like it is going to be a wipe. XD Gamers will bring down all 5, and Not Today won't get a single one. So XD will now push up the bottom lane, and this should be a Rax, if not 2, if not 3, if not just the game.
And just like, I'm not going down without a fight. Come at me, bros.
Respectable. Respectable, but will it be enough? As Devo will break the high ground. Lena's there. Benhaz does what he can. The Dragon Slave and the Light Strike Array doesn't connect, but he's being chased by Devo. This was a buyback. Pops the BKB, will now turn out. They've got the Beastmaster there as well. They're trying to do some damage, but it's just not quite enough. The lasso now will pull Benhaz right back in. Beast goes down, and promptly will the GG be called. Not today. The last remaining hope for South America in this tournament will be knocked out, and we'll be going with XD Gamers taking on Enemy GG for the Grand Finals.
Best Zeus ever. Maybe a little bit of salt coming out from Lena, but it could be sincere, so But yeah, XC played a really good job on that, Zeus. I just think their overall team coordination was really well. They utilized the Spectre ulti really well. KT, by far, standout play in all games, from his Earthshaker play to his Tide play, was just really strong. And now here on the bat, he just really carried his team, gave them a lot of opportunities to get pickoffs and translate those kills into objectives. So really well done by him.
And well done to all of these players. I can't begin to show enough respect to these guys. I mean, just looking at the fantasy points shows how the last game went. Not today, we're playing pretty damn well coming into the last couple of fights, but there's just so much power, so much potential from XD Gamers' team fight that it was almost a guaranteed once they had that Radiance. It looked a little close, and not today definitely put up a fight, but XD, they pull off what seemed to be the inevitable from the 15 to 20 minute mark. But whatever the case, they move on again to the grand finals and take on enemy GG. Guys, you've been watching my fantastic co-caster, Mr. V, at Mr. V Dota 2 on Twitter. Go ahead and give him a follow. For myself, it's Chicago Ted at TedCast. Thank you so much for joining us, and we will catch you all for the grand finals, guys. See you next time.
Step you take, attention is left in your wake. Everywhere you see, blinded yet infinitely. Spectrum of a time, breaks from its shape of a line. Each instance proves to be a moment reaching endlessly.